I don't believe that veganism changed my mood at all. I used to tell people that when they go, "You feel better?" I go, "Nope, sure don't." Bianca, I don't even hear the theme music anymore. We've passed the roof.
Yeah.
We've done 80 of these. This is 81 or something.
I think
Or
it's
89.
88.
89, yeah. 89, good year.
It's still a good theme song.
I think probably a lady might have touched my penis.
89?
Yeah.
You were like 11.
No, I was 16. I'm
Uh-oh.
sorry. Sorry to hear.
Sorry.
Sorry for my loss. Okay. So we live in a crazy time.
Wild.
And the January 6th was like where you almost get hit by a car and you're like, yeah, it's fine. And the next day you're like, I almost fucking died yesterday. Every day that passes, it's like, wait a minute, what? It gets more serious. Not every day. Eventually it's just going to stop getting serious, but the importance of it and the it's like 9/11 where you just like I'll watch any footage they got
hold
now.
On, pause. Can you cover that?
My water?
No, your gum.
Yeah.
Sorry. You had a chewing gum.
No, I didn't know I was doing a podcast with the Queen of England.
No,
but,
I just it's gonna.
Sorry, guys. I chewed gum out, and Bianca won't have it.
No, I'm sorry. I don't,
Sorry, Your Majesty. If I had
no,
any idea.
It's just making me queasy.
So every day it's as I was saying, not like 9/11.
Right.
In that on 9.
12, but 18?
18, 9/24, I was still watching everything about it,
right.
and every interview and it's still like that to me.
It feels very fresh.
The reason it works for me is any woman that has dated me will know that I'm a ruminator.
Okay.
So if we had a talk 2 days ago, we just had the talk. And I go over it and over it and over it and over it. Now, if you're dating me, it's a hell.
Well, what do you do? So in a dating scenario, do you bring it up every day?
I don't know. I think I've told you this on here, but I had a thing with an ex where I would say, and they went both ways. I would go, that was a multiple apology infraction. One apology is not going to cover it. So I'm going to need you to come back around.
Wow.
For that. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. But it's funny. A lot of it's funny.
Were they laughing?
Not then, but during the relationship, there's a lot of laughs. Okay. I'll pause the TV and I'll say something funny.
No, yeah. You'd be like, it's like having your own TV show.
Yeah. But I ruminate over, I obsess and I ruminate. But that's how, you write jokes. That's how you do anything worthwhile. Somebody the other day was talking about like, having a balanced life. And I said, no one who's done anything important had a balanced life.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Like, no, well, I don't know. It's not, Magellan wasn't fucking like, yeah, I got to get home. Like, you're obsessed and you're do the work all the time. As it pertains to January 6th, I realized that this is why I hate conspiracy theories.
Yes.
I fucking hate them. I've always hated them.
Yeah.
I'm on the record as hating them.
Yes.
Because I see where they go. I know where they can go. I personally have been on the receiving end of paranoia across a multitude of like just from my whole life. And it's basically just paranoia.
Yeah.
Or misinformation or whatever. And it has physical repercussions. Which I think people kind of think they're fun. It's like, no. This is these can have real issues.
Yeah.
Which brings me to, I posted it on my Twitter and I sent it to you. It was a longie.
It was
an article about QAnon. I believe it's on medium.com, or just go on my Twitter. and it was about the basically how QAnon started, and what it is, and the guy who wrote it, and we talked about this a little bit.
Perspective, right?
It's this guy makes games like role-playing games and like all the categories of gaming. LARPing and CLARPing.
Got it, yay.
And QAnon is it's a role-playing game where they just keep it very vague. They say things like, do your own research, which means it's what people say, like, that's not my job to teach you.
Right, it's like, make your own way to my conclusion.
Yes, exactly. Like, I know, but I'm not going to tell you. Right. And it induces a thing in people called apophenia, which we all have in mild cases, I believe, meaning we all, at a certain point, will go like, it's that thing of like, why do I keep seeing that word?
Yeah.
That's
I bought a car. Now you see that car everywhere.
Yes. But it's seeing connections in places where there aren't. The guy gave a really good example, which is he was doing like a kind of an escape room thing, and he did it in a room he didn't really inspect that well, and he wrote a clue for people, but on the way the wood just happened to be was an arrow pointing at the wall. So then everyone in the game is like, this is the clue. And he's like, and I couldn't explain to them, I wrote it. That's not a clue. Yeah. That just happened. But so that's all of QAnon. It's just it's a self-perpetuating. It's like a brain eating.
You can't, and once you plant that seed, you can't now dictate.
Yes.
Like if you really, because the idea is to get to where they went. You know, that's what it was kind of designed. That's like what conspiracy theories are designed to do. But when they start going to places that you're like, oh, well, no, not that. It's like, nah, you can't really control it.
You can't control that. But also you can't control it if it's fake. One of the things is like when people make some symbol with their eye, that and like it's some
or if
symbol.
You look on, it'll be like masonry symbols that every.
Yes. Oh no, one of them was the basically the horns, the finger horns.
Rock on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they cut to like Bush doing, and it's all like just their fingers are in motion. Or they'll be like. So yeah, so we're caught up in a form of mental illness.
Yeah.
And they're killing people now.
You know, I'm going through kind of a weird time because I told you before that I was always like, my, dip into conspiracies was always just like aliens and it's funny and astrology, that bullshit.
Yeah.
And it was literally in the spirit of, ooh, it's a campfire. Like, let's all tell stories to freak ourselves out. Mm-hmm. That was my relationship with it.
Yeah.
Not about my life. Like, I remember my friend was having really bad Crohn's disease because he took this like drug that a lot of people take, and it made him have Crohn's.
Cocaine.
No.
Crohn's cane. No. Go ahead.
And so Crohn's cane.
Thank you, everyone.
It's so bad. So we were at this hospital in the Bay, and I remember asking the doctor, like, ooh, is anything haunted in here? Like I'm always asking these questions. And he told me a story about how there's one statue. It's like a bust of the guy who like founded the hospital, and they always face it a certain way because when it's faced forward, someone dies immediately. So they always have it off center and like that shit. And I remember my friend being like, God, you always ask those questions. I'm like, I know, I love it. That's the form of it, And I told you
this is why when people talk about, I like literally I'm like instantly furious.
Right. But so then I told you that I accidentally stumbled upon an alien convention accidentally. I said it on a few episodes, like maybe a month or two ago. And they were all
extraterrestrial.
I couldn't believe that I shared something in common with these people. This is a long time ago. This is before Trump. But it was all like off the grid, poor, somehow not disabled, but like ill health,
Yeah.
white, out of
Like
shape.
at least something's infected.
Something's like wonky. Like everybody had a wonky thing
Yeah.
or wheelchair
nub.
or this.
A nub here, an infection there.
But it just like, they didn't look super
thick
healthy.
Cough.
Really weird because I was like, wait, these are the people
Those are your people.
These are my people.
Yes.
And they all spent their lives making DVDs, personal DVDs, which I'm still very upset I didn't buy to this day because hilarious. But and they'd have these like documents of like and I'm like, oh, well, and then in my head, I'm like, I can't believe this dumb thing that like, who the fuck thinks about this often is these people's identity in life. And almost in those weird evangelicals, like if they were like, they have to be right or else their life was like worth nothing. And after I saw that, that's when I'm like, this is not that. Some people are taking this very seriously. This is not funny campfire shit to people. And during Trump, a lot of my friends who historically when we were young knew I like, ooh, let's get scared. Let's tell scary stories. I heard my stepmom is from the Philippines and like, they'll tell you all sorts of fucking crazy. Like, I just like those kind of stories when I was young. And some of my friends are sending me shit. And I'm just like, oh no, like I've outgrown that kind of thing that doesn't really spark the same thing it did in me. And also like what you're sending me is fucking
Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's almost like you're starting to lose that connection with people. You're like, nah, dude, this is not real. Like, don't.
Yeah,
you're sending me this
that's
yo.
what's gonna start happening is confronting people with like, it's not real. And then the fact that government, the president, Trump didn't disavow QAnon. They asked him about it like a year ago.
Oh yeah, no.
And he's like, it seems like it's good.
Yeah.
And it seems like I'm like I'm on the right side or something. But it's so harmful that politicians, we have to agree on what's real. We have to agree. And that's the thing. It's like my prescription for the QAnon people is I just hope that they do something fucked up that's manageable so that they can be, I mean, they're 51, they're gone.
But the problem is that, and that's what I'm realizing, because it was a long time since I've been in junior high.
Yeah.
And I gave a fuck about these things.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. And anything someone sends me that's like a friend of mine, I research, I look, I read, I don't just dismiss. And everything a few people have sent me is such hocus pocus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, no. And then they look at me like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, you've changed. I'm like,
yeah.
You guys know this is stupid. Like, who cares? Like, UFOs, I mean, what's happening terrestrially? There's enough happening here. There's enough to prove.
Yes.
That we don't need to spend our entire...
It's like Neil Armstrong punched that guy in the face, or Buzz Aldrin. Do you ever see that video?
No.
Somebody went up to one of the moon landing guys.
Oh, and said it was fake?
Yeah. Punched him in the face.
So, is that what we need to do?
Yes.
In times of... And you said something like early on that was so smart. It was just people who wanted to be the master of something. People who want this knowledge that you don't have.
They don't have... You know who doesn't believe in conspiracy theories? People that have done shit. People that... Like, Bill Gates doesn't believe it. He's the object of a conspiracy theory.
A lot, yeah.
He doesn't do them. What he does is fucking invent shit with his amazing brain. That's what he does. Like, so it's losers. It's fucking losers.
I want to understand why, because there's conspiracy things all over the map. Like if you go down a YouTube hole where this person is a lizard.
I'll answer your question. The internet.
No, this is okay. Well, my question is why, if you're going to put so much effort and dedicate part of your life and identity and something you sign up for to a conspiracy, why not to the plethora of issues that are real?
Well, somebody made the good point about QAnon. They said, first of all, they're trying to it's about trafficked kids.
It's always about trafficked kids, and it's like.
But you know what you could do? What they've done is they fucked up the existing channels for trafficked kid hotlines because they flooded them with phone calls. Yes.
Fuck, are you serious?
Yes. So they can't. They're overloaded. Whoever does that is overloaded. The FBI or whomever. So if you're hurting trafficked kids.
But why all of a sudden? I mean, that's what is so weird. It's almost like the actual issue, like helping the actual issue is not their issue. It's knowing that there's an issue out there. Because you could easily volunteer for so many,
There's no game. There's no game there. It's yes, you're right. They do want. It's about like being on the inside of something, but they don't.
It's like everybody wants to be a spy.
Yeah, they don't want to help. It's like It's like any movement. There's not that many people actually helping. There's a lot of people making signs and shit like that, but they're not actually helping. The internet has driven people crazy. We cannot. I said it last week. I'll say it again. We cannot take this much information. Human beings. I said it already, and I'll say it again. Not a second late. Human beings cannot take this much information. We are not meant to take this much information. So I started saying this week that this is a information overdose. This is a seizure from an information overdose. We can't take false information and real information, actor, politician, what's who.
Right. People are malfunctioning.
They truly malfunction.
They're just like grabbing the closest thing, being like, cool.
You're a child molester. We're going to rush the thing. And then what? And then what were you going to do? Like, but they can't. We're not supposed to have this much information. We just aren't. We're supposed to get information from an elder. There's supposed to be an elder. We're built for like small communities. We're built for small retirement communities. And we're supposed to just have one elder that we go, hey, what's that? And they go, it is da 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 da. Yeah, okay, that's what that is. We're not built for this. So, and these are, and especially people with feeble brains, which a lot of them have.
So, okay, I have a question. What should I do with my friends, a few friends that they're on the other side? I don't know how I can't relate to this. This signing up.
I've seen a few articles about it this week
what do
about
you do
how we're supposed to handle QAnon people, and
they're not QAnon, but it's like conspiracy to where it's just like, dude, if you're too susceptible, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not QAnon, but it's like you're so susceptible.
Even like we talked about a couple weeks ago, you used to have to go somewhere to get the conspiracy. Like the level of there was a barrier to entry.
Right. I was into it when it was like
to a fucking bookstore near the mall, near the freeway, it wasn't
with like
in a good,
weird.
Yeah, it's like maybe a sex. You might get molested. It's always overcast. It's never like sunny.
No.
And you took effort. This is just too easy, and people are too
infographic, nothing.
It just fucking beams into people's heads, and they can't. To the point where we have an election. One stack of votes is higher than the other, and they go, no, it's rigged. Okay, you think it's rigged? Okay, let's go to the court and see what they say. And the court said, no, it's not rigged. And this is a Republican court a lot of the time. And they still won't accept it. So it's a bit like people not thinking, just saying that stop sign doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that.
So we're like not agreeing.
It's like if we can't agree on what a stop sign does, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And if we can't agree on what's reality, honestly, that's what the issue is. What is reality? And I said this on here, but also I can't believe Trump at some point didn't say my reality is better than your reality.
I said,
Yeah, like why he wouldn't say like, because that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's just a better reality, and it doesn't. So now authority's gone because William Barr said it was bullshit too. The election.
Yeah.
There's no malfeasance. There's nothing. No chicanery, anything. Any of my old man was.
Chicanery.
And so we're very fucked. And my only thing is, I hope that we might have to lock these people up. I don't see how else you do it. If someone won't agree to what reality is, you just
lock
have to
them up. Come on.
put them in insane asylums. They're insane.
Okay.
They're insane, and they
No, I
won't
don't.
listen to
We can't do
reason.
that.
And it's like if a schizophrenic person said that guy's in the FBI, and you're like, it's a security guy.
Right.
And then the president came and said, no, this guy's in the FBI. What do you do? Like, the guy's not actually in the FBI, but if the president says he is, he's pretty credible. And then 150 senators go, yeah, this guy's in the FBI. So it's mental illness that's supported by politicians milking it for their own gain.
But the problem is not that. Take all the people at the Capitol. They're just a symptom. They are not the problem. The problem starts further back when on the internet and the information we get is not verified. We don't know what's real. I mean, some people will use old videos, label them something else. Everyone's outraged. And it's like, no, that,
right.
No, wait, you guys know this, that, no, wait, stop. Everyone. So even at that level, there's no standard for actual information
reality
on a small level about like just making something go viral.
Yeah.
That is innocuous, for example.
Yeah.
Like you sent me the guy being like, you're treating me like a black person in the airport. That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah.
But they were showing it like capital
Like it just
instructions.
happened, yeah.
Are we gonna throw that person in jail? No. But are they doing the same thing that someone else did, just with a worse outcome? Yeah. Like.
Right. Well, that's that. Then
So-
you're getting into degrees.
For sure, but there's a lot of QAnon
orders of magnitude, which Republicans somehow in the past couple of weeks have gotten very confused
They're
about
really
a magnitude where one thing, if a migraine is the same as somebody shooting you in the head.
Yeah, it's like
same
I
thing.
mean, the head is still
This or shot in the head is the same. You
Yeah.
poked in the face, shot in the head, and they go, no, it's the same thing. You guys did that. You guys are into head trauma.
BLM,
No.
Antifa.
Yes.
It's like,
which, by the way, I looked up right before we started. 93% of those marches were peaceful, and the ones that weren't they didn't arrest black people.
and no cops died.
I think one cop died.
One cop died, and which
during
one?
A robbery, I think, because I had a big argument with somebody.
A robbery.
He tried to stop a robbery. He
Oh,
tried to stop a
looting.
looter.
Yeah.
So a cop did die. But it's not right that the cop died. Whoever killed him, goodbye.
Right.
Goodbye.
You've got mail.
And so whoever killed him, goodbye. And so, but also, and again, the reason they were doing the march was because George Floyd was murdered by authoritarian police regimes, and nobody cared.
Right.
I mean, and it's been happening for 400 years roughly, and people had lots of time, and they decided to march. They wasn't like, we're gonna imagine if Obama had said anything.
I mean,
like, we're gonna march down to the Capitol.
Obama would be tried.
Yes, he would already have been. He'd already be dead.
Also, funny how people stop making the comparison if they were black, because it's so obvious that it's like
it's not even worth. It's like it's the.
If it were Obama, it's like
yeah.
We all know now.
Yeah.
That's the only good thing about Trump's presidency is because growing up, I mean, you hear a lot racism not really an issue anymore. It's
Yeah.
better. It's this.
Jimmy Carr, listener, thought racism was over. He's like, I thought
Jimmy.
you solved it.
Jimmy.
Poor guy.
Yeah, especially. I mean, the funny thing is, a lot of these videos, a lot of the trouble we've had, especially in this last year, boiling over. You notice a lot of these videos aren't from the South. A lot of them are in places where there are liberals, or where there's a
Michigan, Ohio. Well, I mean, Trump won Ohio by a lot.
I just mean like the videos of Karens or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck. A lot of them are in California and New York. Almost none of them are in Alabama
Yeah.
or Kentucky. It's these places where we label ourselves one thing, but we're full
Yeah.
of shit. So I just wonder about how, like, it's just not a good comparison because it's its own thing. But
The difference is reality and fantasy.
Right.
George Floyd died. People marched.
okay, but
Donald Trump lost. You were told he was cheated, so that you marched. He didn't. You weren't cheated. He was. Nothing happened. Like
not
reality.
all those people were QAnon though.
No,
So
no,
let's
I
just
know.
talk
It's
about a
QAnon,
regular.
MAGA.
Let's just talk about a regular
the Proud
person
Boys.
that's like
Who else do I have here? I have the whole list.
3%.
The the
3%.
Oath Keepers were big ones. They were like the very militarized ones.
Did you see the video of Inside?
Yeah.
When they were inside and like the
Yeah.
this,
Well, I wanted to. That's why I was asking if we should play it because
can we?
it brought up a lot of the stuff we talked about.
Yep.
Which one is it? That one.
That one.
This is the New Yorker video. Before you shut it down, I am a subscriber.
Where the fuck are they?
So where the fuck are they? This is them.
We are war, okay?
They're in a Senate floor.
Understand it's an IO war. We can't lose the IO war. We're better than that. Information.
The IO war. This is just
What's
guys. Information ops. All right, this is the Ted Cruz part.
This guy is dumb.
Yeah, he thought they were
was
gonna
like-
break in and take
This
photos.
guy was like, "Is this it? He's not doing
Yeah.
it. Wait, he is doing it." It's
Yeah.
like, ugh.
There's the MAGA guy,
There's
the
the
shaman with the horns yelling, just
The
yelling.
voiceover actor.
Yeah.
I think Cruz would want us to do this, so yeah, absolutely. I think we're good.
I think we're good. So then we'll go. Wait till they're go to where the here we go. There's-
And we are listening to Trump. You're the boss. It's sad. It's sad. You're
We're listening to Trump, your boss. So this is what. So I posted a few things.
Yeah.
Stop it, please. And the big one was the false comparison. Just
Sorry, false comparison to. Oh,
BLM
yeah, of course.
and Antifa. First of all, here's another thing I want to say. How many people you think are in Antifa?
Where are
I
they?
say this to anyone who brings up Antifa. How many people, honestly, do you think are in Antifa? 80? That's high.
Yeah, but what? It's not even
It's
like
not
organized.
anything. It's nothing.
Not,
It's just a bunch of guys who live in their cars, and are just angry and are more liberal than conservative.
people identify more with their astrology and believe in astrology. It's like, I'm a fucking Gemini. I'll kill you.
There are way more Geminis than Antifa. There's more.
Are we similar, though?
There are more podcasters than it. I mean, there's
Yeah,
more.
there's more.
There are so many. It's not anything. It's not anything. It's like maybe 80 people.
Some
That's
people
high.
have taken it and been like, we're anti, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's not even it's not remarkable.
And BLM, none of the who was Steve buddy of mine said something about someone in BLM said something in Chicago and they did something about BLM is a pretty basic. What they're saying is pretty basic.
yeah, and they also did the smart thing by everyone has their local BLM.
Yes.
So,
Yes, it was a local BLM.
it's kind of
Somebody
a-
local Chicago BLM did something stupid or fucked up.
But it's really just like LA, like it's the QAnon people there's more. I don't know in compared to BLM, but they're more organized and in terms of like in comparison with Antifa,
They're
like,
they're
QAnon
like
is
all in communication with each other. BLM was like, we're gonna march. There was never a we're gonna march.
It was
and
only
then
marching.
Overtake something. We're not gonna march there and we're not gonna lose with we're not gonna win with weakness. There was no talk of violence.
The thing is, when I was marching,
I was marching too. Bianca.
Yeah, and you did that one. You did on your own.
Maybe two.
Did
But
you?
Go ahead. It's not important.
I would have marched with you.
Yeah.
Racial equality and inclusion.
Speaking of which, someone keeps hitting me up for the whole audio. Can we like put a link of that?
Of that? Of the kid? Didn't
the
you send it to
aliens.
Will? Will,
Yeah,
you
but-
found it?
No, I found it.
You found it.
My friend Candace
Send
found
it to him.
it.
Hit him up.
Oh, I can't find it again. Anyways, okay, whatever. When we were marching, it's hard to organize a bunch of fucking adults and some kids. It's hard. I get it. When you're marching for something, you're always going to have outliers, or people who want to fuck shit up, or people who want, this country.
Yeah.
This country doesn't fight wars on its own soil,
Yes.
and especially not in fucking LA. So
Yeah.
some people do have an itch and an urge to do something. A lot of people would spray paint Nazis on like down Rodeo. And then someone who organized the march would just be like, don't do that.
Yes.
Come by,
Yes.
spray paint it,
Yes.
black it out. Like there was always someone
I haven't seen any footage of any of the people from January 6th saying, hey, chill out with that shit.
I mean, yeah, once they were in the Senate floor,
Yeah.
they're like, that's the very vice presidency. It's like, it's too late to.
Yeah, but they
keep
weren't
order.
even saying don't.
They were
just
saying
like,
don't. They were like,
just
be
so
cool.
You know.
They were saying be respectful.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, that's already too far gone.
Yeah.
But the goal was to march. There was silence a lot of the time. There was kneeling, sitting, getting
Yeah.
up, sitting, disrupting traffic and making
It wasn't
gaining attention. That was really it.
It was like the ones. The one I went to, the two I went to. I only remember one, but I know I was at two.
I think it was one.
Yeah, I prefer to speak with my checkbook, Bianca.
That's actually what you said. You're like, I don't know, it's hot.
No, it was COVID. It wasn't fucking hot. I just didn't want to get fucking coronavirus. Sorry. I know it didn't. No one got it there.
I know, Neal.
Shout out to
shit.
Corona for not giving it to any of the people who are fighting for racial justice. We see you, COVID, and we honor your peace. They're just different.
Right.
One was not a mob. It was never a mob. I guess in Minneapolis, it was crazier. But there was also shit like in the if you ever see
the
the
LA
video,
one.
the LA one,
was there.
where they light the cop car on fire, the cop car that was just parked in the middle. And
Yeah, there was
the more you're like, wait, who's that?
That's what I talked about when I
Yeah.
went, because it was an old cop car.
Yeah.
And someone came and threw weird
Happened to
liquid
bring-
in it,
yeah,
and then
happened to bring-
ran
yes.
away.
Yeah.
Like I saw that,
Yeah.
so I was like,
there was
this
there
is
was an
strange.
investigation on. It's like, do that for this. If you can find black people killing
Just, like,
cops accidentally,
stuffed.
God bless.
I think they were like, okay, let's give them something to break so they don't break other shit. Because why would you put an old cop car in the middle of
No.
Fairfax?
It's all the cops put the car there,
That's what I'm saying.
and the cops
Oh,
lit it on fire. It's all. You got to use your head, bro.
oh.
And this is
fucking
not.
talk
There's
about
videos.
conspiracy
No, there's
theories over here.
video. There's very clear videos where you're like, oh,
I love when you
don't
put on
know
a
if it's
tin hat. I love when
exactly
you put on a tin hat.
who, but it's
They just
not.
looked. The one I saw, I was like a young
it was
Mexican
just,
kid. I was
yeah,
like,
it was just like fishy,
"You
where it was
police?
like there's
You
something fishy here.
5-0." It was fishy. It was weird.
Yeah.
And it was fishy. But in a way, I think that the little like debate or the outliers, or I mean, I saw two people with a 2x4 walking down the street. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, that's not good. But the point was to march, like you're saying. The point of this
Then they
was
weren't Mexican and they weren't going to a job.
there
They
were
were not
two
going
black,
to
two white,
construction.
two black, two white,
They weren't wearing
going
boots.
towards Rodeo.
Okay.
No,
I wanted to try to put a positive
no,
racist
no
spin on it.
No spin.
Positive racism with Neil Brennan.
What?
I call they were laborers.
So this one was like March. It was organized in terms of bring your, what is, I think Ian has that, bring your racist, what's it? Anyways, basically the goal was to storm. That was the goal. You know what I mean?
The
Like
goal of January 6th
was to
was to fuck up the Capitol. Yeah,
Fuck
it
up
was,
the Capitol.
The president wrote "will be wild" on Twitter, like a monster truck rally. Will be wild. Then his son said,
Nonsense, yeah. And then
whatever. They all
Giuliani
said,
said combat.
trial by combat. Now, somebody else said, where did he exactly tell them to do that? To which I say, when they indict mobsters and drug dealers, they never have them on tape saying, put the cocaine in baggies and sell it for $50.
Rico, baby.
They just talk. They talk in a code that's easily breakable,
Right.
and that most reasonable people agree that's what he meant. What do you think he meant?
One of the big, I saw some, where they, I think it was a gangland, or I don't know. This one of the biggest weed, this queen pin of the weed game in LA. She only got tried on completely circumstantial evidence. They didn't have one smoking gun.
Yes, and even
not one.
if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and say it's basically, hey, go down there and rough him up, and then your henchmen go down in there and kill him, and you're like, yo,
I said rough.
I said rough him up. What do you? I don't know. I just thought it's like you sent morons to a place, and then according to Ben Sass, one of the congressmen, he heard that Trump watched it with delight.
Of course.
Of course he did.
No one's
no
wow,
one wasn't wait, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump enjoyed that? Because and also the thing where he said, I'll go there with you. And of course he wasn't going there with him. It's just
no, he's
it's
ew,
lies.
I hate these people.
Yeah, he wouldn't he doesn't want to shake their hands. By the way, I got a 20-foot pole and I can't wait to use it. I literally bought a 20-foot pole on Amazon because I got high ceilings and you got to twist
for a pole dancing?
No, you got to twist the light bulbs out.
Oh.
I'm getting all new lights. You didn't, yeah.
Wow.
I look dumb, I know, but I'm pretty smart.
20 foot.
So yeah, the false equivalency is insane.
Did you see the false equivalency when they banned him from Twitter? They were just they're
Twitter's
blocking
just dumb.
conservative
Oh yeah,
voices.
they're blocking conservative voices. Again, go to China. You want to see voices blocked? They'll block your voice, all right. They'll fucking rip your vocal cords out and chop your hands off.
What I don't
And
get,
by the way, about 70% of the world's like that. So
you can't just be talking
anywhere.
shit about people outside of America.
Yeah, go anywhere. It's like Tony Rock's joke about black girls in the Middle East. Just they'll just chop your head off. You just keep rolling your neck. Eventually, your head's gonna pop off your fucking neck because they're not gonna play that shit.
No, okay.
I want to ask one of these people, and this applies to Congress as well. Okay, let's say you break in. Okay, let's say you don't even kill Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence.
Okay.
Let's say you just tie them up with your
rough
zip ties.
Yeah.
And you get them to overturn the election because of a mob. Where are we as a country? Do you know what I mean? Then what? So now it's just whoever has a mob?
Right.
Because then you're a third world country. Then it's just jungle rules. It truly is jungle rules. So do you want to live in the jungle? Because you see how quickly things can. We didn't get it on the video, but there's a point where they find a document from Ted Cruz and go. It says he's going to object to the counting of the ballots. He's a traitor.
Right.
Because they don't know what object
and then what
means.
happens a second later? Oh no! Wait.
Then somebody says, "No, wait, he's on
with
our
us."
Right now, if Ted
really
Cruz had come in that moment, he's dead.
Yeah,
He's
fucking
dead.
traitor.
It's over. So the fact that these guys are willing to milk these crazy people for, by the way, if you can't see it on video, but I'm doing the milking gesture.
Yeah, he's
two-handed
doing it
milking gesture.
He's milking a cow.
So that they can be a senator. You get to be a senator. You're constantly, you're milking. You don't want to tell crazy people that they're not that they're crazy. You don't. You just you go, no, it's true, and then you use their energy to get elected.
But the difference is that this is a unique situation where before Donald Trump, I mean, the GOP has a lot of issues in terms of their party, and it's super fractured. So now it's not really about the GOP; it's about Donald Trump. So the party's Donald Trump. So if you don't have morals and you don't want to stand up for what's right, you have to be with Donald Trump because that's what everybody voted for, and that's what all the people behind you want you to do. They want you to be in line with him. So what choice Ted Cruz sucks, but let's just say like
at a certain point, by the way, the Al Franken quote is, I like Ted Cruz more than anyone else in Congress does, and I hate Ted Cruz.
That's it.
Okay, so that's mob rule.
Yeah, they're held hostage. It's like silent hostage.
They are mob ruled. So one of them has to just say, I'm not voting with you. And they go, we're going to vote you out. Fine. Fine.
Perks are too good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're all fucking lawyers. Just go be a lawyer or a lobbyist or something. Like,
that means, you know what that means? That means being a congressman or woman is really nice. Because
it's better than living. I mean, they're already lying, kind of.
Yeah, they're always
This is absolute bald-faced alternate reality shit. It's alternate reality shit. You're encouraging an alternate reality, and so that you go, no, I'm in the alternate reality. Stop signs aren't stop signs to me either.
Yeah.
They're something else. They're a signal.
Different.
Yeah. And yeah, like they can't. Yeah. So these people. It's just so it's upsetting because they don't think ahead at all, seemingly. Like what country are we? If you can do that, what country are we? Because the only reason we are a country is because we all agree that you do an election, and if you have a problem, you go to a judge, and then the judge says yes or no, and then it's counted by the attorney general or whatever, and then whoever won. No, it's not that anymore. Okay, well, what are the new rules? Because I don't follow you. These are nonsense rules, and if they've got everyone in Congress in a headlock, I don't mind a headlock of like legislation, but they don't want any specific laws.
No, they
just want him to be president.
I think senators and like House, I think congressmen and women care as long as their term is. I think that's how far they see. Not so much, how is this going to affect our democracy? Or how is this going to affect everything in the bigger picture? Because notice how all the retired senators, Republican senators, like 40 have spoken out against it. Because they don't have anybody to.
Of course not. And I don't mind what I would say. One of them hopefully will just go, you're all delusional. And if you don't want to vote for me, fine.
Right.
I'd rather be a credible person to myself at night and live in reality. Because where does this reality lead? This reality, their alternate reality, which is very hard to say from my mouth. It's very difficult from my mouth. It's just made up from minute to minute. And it's mob rule. So there's just going to have to be some kind of reckoning. I don't know. Like I said, a guy said it was a little rough that I said World War Z, but I just mean if they storm the Capitol, you fucking mow them down. You just go, here's reality. Gunshot wound, dead for believing bullshit. Like the Air Force lady, just fucking believed bullshit.
To death.
To death. She believed bullshit to death. Cause of death. Belief in bullshit.
Is that on her?
Yes, it is on her toe tag. Toe tag. So
about making fun of that, but the problem is that well, what's even scarier is that now all the information we're getting is that the amount of military, police, everybody involved in it, that they don't even know how safe the inauguration is going to be. Well, I want to just, for the record, I think most minorities are over here being like, I told you so.
No, I wrote black people were right. I know.
Racist.
I know.
Oh, that was for,
yeah, that's what black people writes about. Is about because I hate conspiracies.
But black conspiracies.
It's a tough one. I
they
know it's
weigh
a tough
little
one.
more.
Yeah. Well, black conspiracies are. I don't want to say they're more based in reality.
Well, listen.
Black people actually have people oppressing them, whereas white people, it's largely, imaginary.
The thing is, a conspiracy doesn't have to be a dirty word. It is a dirty word now. It's just like, I don't know, more than two people conspiring to do something illegal, right? So the fact that there's enough evidence that black people are targeted and oppressed, and there's legislation against, like, there's enough there that, is it like that far-fetched to say, like, no, the cops are
right,
really racist? Like,
yes.
They go out of their way to associate themselves with racists
Yes.
that are in our neighborhood that police us. So even here, I was watching someone that they weren't talking about LA, but they were saying how in a lot of neighborhoods, the cops come here, they police. We spend our tax dollars for police here, but those police generally live outside.
Yeah.
So all
They
the police
never
here
live
live
there.
in Simi Valley.
Yeah.
So they take
because there's no black people.
there really isn't.
Duh.
Shut up.
Where
man.
else would they live?
Duh. So
It's the Idaho of Los Angeles.
it is the fucking Idaho of Los
Yeah.
Angeles. Have you been there? Okay, you
I've
should
shot
there. Yeah,
it
but
there. Yeah. It's just like it's
There's
yeah
no vegan.
it's creepy.
It is creepy out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a reason.
That black people were right about. I wouldn't say that I didn't believe black people, and by black people I just mean Dave. Mostly just Dave.
And Rock?
Rock's a conspiracy. He's not much. Rock's more just like.
I mean, you're weirdly blown away by. You're blown away by all Rock's racist stories.
I love, but he doesn't. They're not conspiracies. They're what happened to him. That's what I like
Dave
about
would talk about like
Dave
yeah,
was just more. It was just more like.
And did you not believe?
Dave would never talk about things that had happened to him. It was just
this is
things
happening.
I'm suspecting and whatever. So, but the problem with the military and the cops are they're realizing you can't give comfort or protection to white supremacists. It's like you can't be a little pregnant. You can't be a little white supremacist, which is what I think cops and military were doing. Like, well,
yeah, like
I mean, just don't do it around here.
right.
And now they realize like, oh, they'll kill us.
They'll kill other white people who
cops.
aren't
Yes.
with them.
Yes. So now, I don't know if you saw the FBI's press conference.
The one where they kind of didn't tell the whole truth.
The one where they said like, we need help. Like if you have any information.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
But the guy was like, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
And I believed it. I believed like this. Some of them seemingly really believe in the rule of law.
I think a lot of them do.
Yeah.
I think you kind of have to I think a lot of them have to for it to maintain its like status, especially because Trump has been very hard on the FBI this like his whole term.
Yeah.
That I think they have so many eyes watching them. Sometimes they're like they're called like the fourth they're fourth branch.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't pay attention to the FBI and the CIA and shit. Just like, yeah, whatever. FBI, what do they do? Like, no one really pays attention to them. And because Trump is so, like, on them, I just think they have more to prove that, like, we are not as corrupt as.
I think that we looked it up. It's like the military's like 45%
Racist?
Black and Latino.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a lot. Right?
Yeah, but it's not over 50.
It's never going to be over 50.
Demographic. No, yes, it could. Between blacks and Latinos, I mean, they're 40% of the population. I don't know. It's all age.
It's a lot of graphs.
I don't know. It's too
We're looking
much.
at a lot of colorful
it's too late, Will.
lines.
We tried. Again, too complicated to read. It's like double-sided fucking dildo of a graph. But they're realizing Basically, they were harboring white supremacists the way the Taliban was harboring Al Qaeda. Just beer. And now you realize like you can't have that. But now the ones that are on the up and up are like, well, I don't like black people.
Right.
They're like, I'm not like, maybe they march for BLM. I don't fucking know. But they're realizing you can't be it's too insidious to be a little bit that. And these people, if you it's the way like most terrorists have a spousal abuse beef at some point before, or mass shooters or whatever, all have spousal abuse. It's like this where if they're willing to be in a group about how great white people are, they've lost credibility.
I know. Well,
they've lost all credibility. And I'm not saying that group is not the police. I'm saying the group is whites. The group is the Promise Oath Keepers. Or the Klan. It's probably not the Klan. The Klan's probably not that popular anymore. But.
There is I have friends who all posted for BLM. Mm-hmm. Everyone was posting. One, even two posted me. It's like, I'm friends with a black person. It was a little weird, but that's fine. And then I just, out of curiosity, I go on to Candace Owens, Ivanka, all these people. Same people like every single post. Mm-hmm. I don't usually go on these people's Instagram, but in Instagram you could see kind of
what they liked, yeah.
And who follows them. And I just looked at who me and Candace Owens have in common. Just do it, everybody at home. If you look at the world kind of from our side, our point of view, go look at someone you vehemently disagree with, like fundamentally on everything, and see who you have in common. It shocked me, honestly. I shouldn't have been shocked, but I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable.
Well, it's not who you have in common. Just go look under who they follow and what posts they like. Because common, you're not, unless you follow Ivanka and Candace Owens, it won't say that.
So if I go to Candace Owens followers, it'll show you the top ones that are your friends.
Good one. Yes.
And my mouth was on the floor. It's so naive to think no one will like that if they're friends with you just because I'm black.
Yeah.
But it's so uncomfortable. I don't know how to address it. Because they're not like racists marching the Capitol.
I had a conversation with somebody this week a guy I like, who didn't understand the difference between this and the BLM march.
What do you do when it's like, well, like you're saying, you can't be a little racist?
I just realized either he's dumb or he's malicious. Either one, I don't want to be friends with him anymore. I just can't do it. Like, I can't do it. It's like, you're either too, if you can't comprehend that, you're dumb. And if you do and don't care, then you're malicious.
Yeah.
Like, then you're not on my moral side. And it turns out some of these sort of passive moral decisions end up getting people killed. Turns out, again, crazy small world.
Small worlds.
You can get killed, or you're willing to be in a mob to kill. What they would have done, they would have treated AOC like Iraqis treated American soldiers.
I feel like they would have. They would have violated her sexually.
I don't even want to say what they would have done.
I know. Well, we know it would have been bad. It would have started terrible, and it would have ended.
Yes, it would have just been beyond. It would have been so far. It would have been rotten.com.
R.I.P. Rest
in power, King.
But you know what it was like seeing my friends? It felt like in the movie, in a zombie movie, when you make it out of like
and your friend runs up and then you see something and you realize.
You just see they got bit. And it's like, and you both are like, oh my God. It's like I have to fucking shoot you in the head. Yeah. You just got bit. Like, it's me and you in the forest against these people.
Yep.
You? How did this happen? How did this happen? And I'm really because I don't want to sit there and be fucking racist Rambo and go and be like,
I know.
Why did you like that tweet?
Yeah.
And because I don't like that kind of intolerance, but I don't know what to do.
What do you
it.
do if you're a liberal? I mean, yes. What do you do if you're a liberal and you now see where somebody actually stands on things?
Or if you're like,
or not even liberal,
like,
just decent.
Or I mean, to me, it's just like, yo, I'm black. I'm like a minority. I'm black. I'm Mexican. I'm like, what if you're somebody that has been on the receiving end of this shit, and then your friend likes these people? It feels really weird. It's like, that's directly against.
This is the most cinematic America's been in a while.
Oh, here comes
In
Neal with the
terms
plot.
of, no, but
It's
I'm
like
saying
the
in terms
narrative.
of the fucking cops are in on it. So now cops are turning on other cops.
Is this better than Parasite?
Most things are better than Parasite. The cops are in on it. There's a Kevin Costner movie where he's a Russian agent, but you don't know till the end. I don't remember what it was called. I'm sure somebody.
Is there the one in Kosovo?
No, it's like from '89 or something. It was always available at the video store.
It's never out.
No Way Out.
That's so
always available.
What
any old people know that No Way Out was always available if you needed it.
Okay.
But there's just a lot of duplicity. The president's a ga. And can he get the codes? Where's the speaker? Mr. Sir, you need to leave this room immediately. Missed him by 60 seconds. Just fucking like.
It sounded like it. Honestly, it started sounding like it when they said he's doing a military parade, which they aren't letting him do, but he's doing a military parade. His presidency is over at noon. His codes, he'll be traveling with 2 sets of codes. He has a set of codes. Biden has a set of codes. His deactivate at noon. Biden starts at 12:01. Like,
yeah,
the nuclear
stuff that we didn't
codes?
need
Like,
to worry
what?
about. Yeah.
Why did it's very
cinematic.
so much
It's
so much
very
narrative.
cinematic. And
So much
and then
narrative. Neal is
also
happy.
decisions in personal relationships of like
Excuse
which
me?
side are you on? Like which side are you on?
It's literally a
Mom.
side thing. Yeah.
Which side are you on, buddy? You play a little bit in the middle.
I feel like in
It's
BLM
too serious now. This is again. I
BLM
don't-
was okay. Now
Yeah.
it's like, yo, make a decision. Like,
Yeah.
are you
Yeah, it's like BLM's. It's just. When you say it's okay, what do you mean?
meaning when in the summer people started saying, hey, reveal yourself, donut shop, Black Lives Matter over here. Hey, I don't want no trouble, Everyone started saying, volunteering their side. But it wasn't a witch hunt at that point. It was just, oh, cool. These people started talking about it. There's an active conversation happening that a black person didn't have to start.
Yeah.
White people started talking about it on their own accord, showing whatever you want to call it. But now it's really like, I need to know. It's everybody's.
There's a lot of racial moles now, and it's like remember that game show The Mole, by the way, on ABC?
I am
It was
not that
so
old.
fucking
What the
good. It wasn't that
fuck?
old. It wasn't. It was in the age of reality.
Okay.
Whose
reality,
Really
mine or
good.
yours?
Really good show.
What was the point of the mole?
Ernest Borgnine starred as the mole. No, it was a fucking reality show in the 2000s. It was like that game Mafia where somebody's like the turncoat and you have to figure it out. But
Oh, it was like dinner theater.
But this is all like, are you MAGA? Are you kind of MAGA? Because it's not cute at all anymore.
No, it's
Are you kind of a conspiracy? Because it's not. It's less cute than it's ever been. Like it's not. It's now it's deadly, and now it's civilization.
my friend confronted somebody we know, and she was like, I am not for either side. I'm against socialism and communism.
That's somebody said
was
that.
like,
Somebody I know said I didn't vote in the last 2 elections because I couldn't decide between Trump and Hillary and Biden, and there was no difference with them. And I was like, nice knowing you. It's nice. It's basically, I can't, if you're not going to vote for civilization, it's too serious.
I'm like thinking, it's really stressing me. I literally play Boyz II Men. It's so hard. Like, I need to have a funeral for the people.
Yeah.
But then am I, okay, just to play devil's advocate. Am I being intolerant? Because
no, you're making a choice. It's like you're making a choice of, I don't believe in our friendship. Our friendship was based on these assumptions.
yeah.
It turns out the number one assumption was you weren't MAGA. That was number one. And that's turns out that's not true. And then it's like out here where they go, I'm a libertarian. You're a fucking Republican.
You're not libertarian.
And I'm not saying we need to root them out. And I'm just saying personally, now that we've all seen consequences,
Right.
and people, if you still don't care, I gotta let you go. I gotta let you go.
That's how I feel, and it feels really counterintuitive.
Collect your things. I'm
You
gonna
got
let you
15
go.
minutes.
Yeah.
Here's a fucking cardboard
Yeah.
box.
Did I ever tell the story of a guy on Singled Out? A guy got fired. A writer got fired, and he went. He was like just 10:30. We're over on Victory Boulevard in the Valley, and he goes out to his car, flat tire.
Oh no!
Which
This is
is
the beginning
already-
of a great movie. Starts
Already
raining.
very funny. Comes back in.
Okay.
We don't know he's still there. And my buddy Kevin goes, not knowing the guy's there, goes, "Who's the worst writer now?" That was how we did it
How
in the
did you
90s.
find
We
out he
did
was
it
still there?
Pretty crazy back in the 90s. I think he was just like around, like he was right there. He was in the shot.
Oh.
So
Are you still friends with Kevin?
Kevin Coppola, yeah, the great Kevin Coppola. He was the stage manager on all that. Kevin, the stage manager, and I think him and his partner Heath Seifert have a TV show on Disney Channel, but I don't watch that
Kevin.
stuff. But I like those guys a lot. Kevin Coppola is one of my favorite fake book names. We were pitching fake book names at all that, and Kevin Coppola pitched Mice Island. It's the fucking funniest fake book name I've ever heard. Mice Island. And
You got a lot of thoughts here.
I got a lot of thoughts. Black people were right. Oh, well, the funny thing was DHS, Homeland Security, was too focused on Mexicans and the wall and immigration, and they just couldn't. They didn't have the resources to cover white supremacy.
The number one threat
Yeah.
in America. They're like,
Whoops.
you got to go to number 7.
Whoops. Again, it was just everything they thought the Browns were doing, the whites were doing. They thought the Browns were going to storm and they're going to It's like we had the wall, but in the wrong place. We needed a wall from white people in front of Congress. It turns out. Can you fucking believe that? There's a fucking whoopsie daisy for you.
The fact that there's more, what is it? There's more military at the Capitol right now than in
25,000
Afghanistan.
people in Afghanistan, Iraq, or or Sudan. It was fucking Yemen. There's more. And by the way, they had to sleep in the halls of Congress,
was
like
rough.
they did during BLM. They didn't. This is what I thought. All right, so during when they're inside the Congress, one guy yells like "freedom,"
so bad.
which
Such bad
horrible writing.
The writing
Horrible
was
writing.
terrible.
Porn level writing.
Really?
Porn, like that's the level they're at. It's porn.
Would you have been surprised if someone's like, "Oh, I'm so fucking
No,
hard
it wasn't
right now."
like it's
So
not
suck my
sexual. It's just
dick.
hacky. Like, would I bet you like that, wouldn't you? I would like that. Just bad, like
would.
first grade play, like make believe. The guy's yelling freedom, and the thought occurred to me that Americans only experience freedom in an antagonistic sense. They never just like, oh yeah, it's freedom. Freedom to me is like living in a safe society, locks on my doors, outside, nature's good. I don't have to worry about my wallet. Like that's freedom. Running through Congress, I don't want to run through Congress. Like that's not freedom to me. But it's all of America's. It's just this thing of like, fuck you, freedom, and it's not even any. It's not any. It's like a catch-all for. It's just anger.
Frustration.
Fucking
anger.
freedom about what? freedom. They're not going to
Hard
come
F.
here. It's just oppositional. It's the line from, I think it's a James Dean or Marlon Brando. What are you rebelling against? What do you got?
Right.
It's like, what are you so angry about? Like, what do you got? Like, fucking anything. Even I was thinking about the beginning of the colonies and them being like, fuck you, England. And England must have been like, all right, you fucking psychos. Because that's the deal that we had with England was the same that we have with Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And no one feels bad they didn't march down to Puerto Rico for their fucking freedom. It's
Right.
just they were English and then they came over here and they were still English and then they were like, fuck you. I'm not fucking yeah, you're English. Yes, if you want to be, but it's all of this. It's never just freedom for freedom's sakes. It's freedom against something. It's never actual, like, peaceful enjoyment. It's freedom is rage. And, of course, the real estate lady wants a pardon.
I heard he's going to pardon a lot of people tomorrow.
He's pardoned. I saw he was going to pardon Lil Wayne when we started recording. So
Really? I said rappers, which is so funny. Why?
I don't know, because Lil Wayne supported him.
Oh, yeah,
and,
he did.
And, again, pardons are not worth it. They just get rid of them. I know you like Obama's. Fuck it. I'd rather nobody gets any.
No, Neal. It doesn't work for everybody. We need pardons. The justice system's too fucked. If you're gonna take away pardons, then you got to take away a bunch of other shit.
This
Because
is where I take out a handkerchief, wipe my head.
No, it's another check. Obama pardoned so many people it's like pardons, clemency, all these things that, I mean, a lot of non-violent
I would
drug-
rather
Come on, man.
Michael Flynn be in jail and Roger Stone and all the people.
Then all these innocent, like
It's
sold
a trade-off. I'm trading it off.
Okay.
I'd rather malicious white people have to, if it's not worth the trade-off, getting innocent black people out, but also guilty white people.
Nah, dude. Yeah, it is. Because it's a fucked up system. So it doesn't work well, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's a one up, get out of jail free
I just
card.
he's abusing it. So it's like we can't have that. So what if he gets real? It's just not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Just appeal, guys. If you're in jail and you've been falsely accused, do the thing do a montage where you study law and you see a hole in your case. And then
I thought you
appeal.
liked narrative.
I love narrative,
Well,
but I don't like
this.
That's
cinematic
narrative.
as
You're free
fuck.
to go is not cinematic.
The
Learning
pardons
to
are
read,
cinematic.
learning
Pardons are
to
pretty cinematic.
eh.
Out of nowhere, you just get to go.
Yeah, it's not a movie. You're just sitting there, and then you're free to
Oh,
go.
shut up.
She wants a pardon, and I also had the thought that the trials for these things are going to be interminable because every lawyer is going to be. It's going to be their moment. And it's going to be like, I have something I want to say. And then the fucking guys, when they get sentenced, are going to be like, I have a speech for me. And the fucking guy with the horns is going to speak. It's not going to be worth it. He's going to yell, freedom! Freedom! And I'm also not, the charges that they're getting, they're not strong enough. They're all like disorderly conduct and shit.
It's
like, no.
You
got
anything
anything?
stronger?
Can we imagine they're brown for a second? Just for a second, imagine they're Muslim. Just for 1 second.
I can't believe. It's like you can attach some funky shit, and they
Yes.
Let's get funky. The like.
Come on,
bearded
y'all. Let's
guy-
get funky.
Let's get funky. The bearded guy that desks up Pelosi
Yeah.
now, he got
Funk-infused beats.
He was allowed to await trial on house arrest, and then another judge stepped in and revoked it. But
The house arrest that we're all under in COVID.
yeah, so everything is fucking white supremacy.
Yeah. Trayvon had a funny thing on the chat on the thread, which is QAnon would fall apart if like 400 black dudes just came to one of the rallies. It's like, no, we fuck with Q too.
Yeah, it'd be like, yup.
Dreads, chains.
They'd be like,
cornrows. They'd be like, "Nah, I'm seeing some holes in my logic.
guys,
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, this isn't. The whole thing. This year's been very hard. It's been like whiplash. On who? Like I'm like, fuck the police. They killed a cop. I'm just like, and then I'm like, I'm against facial recognition. I'm like, no, I'm like, you know what?
Like, get them.
Let's
faces.
recognize
get
some faces,
them pink
gang.
ass ham
Yeah,
slice
it's
faces.
I have no fixed principles. It turns out because they're fixed, but I'm kidding. But I'm saying like they're even like I want the encryption, and then I don't want WhatsApp looking at my shit, and then now.
Yeah, then you bashed it last episode.
Well, it's you know what civilization is about. It's the tension between freedom and safety.
The problem is how you feel. It's like, good job. You're fine with it because, in our opinion, it's for.
You mean I like it when it favors my cause, and I don't like it when it doesn't? Oh.
Yes, but in our opinion, they're bad guys, and they need to be stopped.
Mm-hmm. You know what I also wanted to say? Sorry, finish.
But they think the exact same thing about BLM. They
that
think
they
they
need
stormed the
facial
Capitol.
recognition.
BLM stormed the Capitol.
Yeah.
The
Well,
same
yeah, but
feelings.
that's not what happened. I mean, that's the
No,
thing
but
where you
the
just
same
go,
feelings are,
guys,
you know.
I'm going to put you on medication because you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Like we got to fucking blow dart these motherfuckers. Because they don't live in reality. What do you do when someone doesn't live in reality and then Congress people and multiple networks encourage it?
Yeah.
We're going to find out, America, in the next 5 years. Hi, welcome to the next 5 years. Yes, we're ODing on information, and this is America. It's like the shit that happens with COVID, where it's like we're attacking ourselves. The antibodies, the people at the Capitol, I'm all for storming the Capitol if an election is really stolen.
Right.
But it wasn't really stolen. This is a fake. It's like what they do with RNA technology with COVID, where it's like you put a thing inside the RNA bubble and then you send it to your body, and your body thinks it's one thing. That's what's happening, but it's malfunctioning. I wanted to say that. And another thing I wanted to say was, remember, liberals are cucks and pussies, but conservatives will actually kill you. They will truly kill you, whereas liberals will do a loud exhale and give you a passive-aggressive look if we don't agree with what you're saying. And liberals will kill you. By the way, do you know what rank California is in terms of getting out vaccine? Out of 50?
Bad?
49th.
That makes sense.
We're right at the bottom with Alabama. And I don't know.
Well, apparently,
I don't know.
apparently,
That's the thing where I blame, like, that's on Gavin. That's on Newsom. Like, the dude, you can't, who you shut down, whatever, but taking a pile of things and putting them in strategic locations is like, that's fucking basic management.
I will say in his defense, apparently the problem with Operation Warp Speed is that a lot of the vaccines that they were told they have don't exist outside of paper.
There are those things, but we have a lot of, we've
Like
only used 29%, I believe.
No, for sure. But then the problem is that there's not enough for the second dose in a lot of places where they need it. So if they sent everybody, like it's just too fucked. Like they got the vaccine out, but apparently there's a lot of places where if you get the first dose, you won't get the second dose, and they don't know when you're going to get the second dose. So I think there's a lot of issues making it hard to. I don't know
I
why
don't want
we
to.
can't
I don't
have a
know
little
why.
We
like,
can't just
North
have-
Dakota's number one, like or Wyoming. One of them
Florida.
is. Yeah, Florida's crushing it.
It's because they just took what they had and got it in people's arms. They didn't do so. Apparently, the tiered is not good. It's like, hey, everybody this age and up, just come,
Yeah.
sign up, and old people like sleep in like it's a fucking concert. Sleep in their cars. In the morning, they got the thing, and then they came back a few weeks later and got the
It's a vaccination festival.
VaxFest 2000.
Whatever fucking year it is. And you watched some documentaries, I understand?
I did.
What'd you watch on Doc Watch?
So I watched one that was suggested to me called 1,000 Little Cuts, and it is about this newspaper in it's called Rappler, I think, in the Philippines, and it's basically about
It's the woman. It's about the woman.
Yeah, that she's like won
Okay,
like
great.
humanitarian awards.
I want to watch that.
So it's funny to watch it last week because both of them, that 1,000 Little Cuts and Collective, were all about how fucking brittle a democracy is and how weak governments are against corruption, and how what I got from it was that it doesn't matter what fucking religion it is in that country. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter much because there's so many examples across so many countries, and just like corruption is just so strong. It's a human condition, and it's nature. It's like it's just a natural way things
It's
go.
Chinatown. Everything's Chinatown.
So you have to fight it.
In this
with
case,
everything.
it's Filipino town, but
It's
yeah.
a little Manila, but you have to fight it with everything you have. So it shows Duterte
Duterte, yeah.
as like a regional mayor
Yeah.
or a governor or something. And then
A
he went,
popular mob boss.
Very
meaning like it's just a mob. And he goes, we're going to kill drug users. Okay.
yeah, and it was like, cool, great, bye. And then when he became president, so she was running this newspaper the whole time. And it went from him being one, and they know each other, and it is so scary. It's America with more machismo and like more karaoke.
Yeah.
There's a lot
and
more karaoke.
shittier roads.
Shittier roads.
And shittier cars.
But I mean, it's Trump administration
Yeah.
if they all did karaoke. Mm-hmm. And like there was dancing people.
Yeah. And they sat on the floor.
It's so...
And they all wore flip-flops.
It's so...
All of them. Like that's from the bottom to the top. And they're all $3.
It was $3.
And they are all dirty.
It's so scary. And so basically 1,000 Little Cuts comes from a speech she gave about democracy and how it doesn't like crumble quickly.
Yeah.
It's just little cuts. And every time you take a piece of it, and after like 1,000 little cuts, like, it's beautiful what she says, but it's so scary how bad, like when the corruption gets too big, it really is like a virus, and there's nobody to stop it. And that one it's scary to see. All she did was report the news, and all she did was ask hard-hitting questions. But the weird thing is, in the Philippines, from what I gather, like, imagine it Trump America, but there's way more QAnon. Like, a lot more QAnon. Like,
Literally about QAnon or just
not
about some
QAnon,
other
but
shit?
just people who like drink
that's
the Kool-Aid
that's-
hardcore. And
I've
most
always
people,
heard that's what happens in like the Middle East. It's just rampant with conspiracies.
right?
Because it's just like, well, you know what? It's just
It's hard to find the truth. So in the Philippines, it's scary. It's like as if the majority was pro-Trump, pro the conspiracies, pro everything Trump says. Imagine if most of us thought that.
yeah.
So it was really scary to see, and they would ask a question, then they would sue, they would go to jail. It's so good, but it's so scary. And I watched it right after we did our episode, and almost everything we said happened in the Philippines. So it was like watching. I don't think they could do exactly what they do here there, but it was like watching. It was like a look into the future if you don't get your democracy.
It's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to vote. It's a pain in the ass to fucking march.
Democracy is
It really is a pain in the ass. Like being in a relationship. Just a fucking pain in the ass, and you have to agree what a stop sign is. A lot. It just comes down to we all agreeing, and if we're living in different realities, they cannot coexist.
Collective is about in Romania.
Collective's the other documentary.
Collective is the other documentary, and there was a nightclub called Collective, and there was a band playing, and they had pyrotechnics go off, and the nightclub burned, and maybe like 30 people died, and let's say 40 people were burned. Mm-hmm. So those 40 people go to hospitals all throughout Romania, and those 40 people all died, or most of them died. And so it sparked an investigation, and it also takes place in like the more like no bullshit, just the facts kind of newspaper, like a hard-hitting investigative newspaper that was wondering why they all died. They all died because they all got bacteria, and they were all septic, and they were like, okay, why? And then it just is like the company that makes the cleaning solution, they dilute it. Why do they dilute it? Well, because the owner is running a fucking offshore scheme. He buys it wholesale for this, so it doesn't kill any of the bacteria. So the bacteria everywhere, they died by this kind of bacteria you get in hospitals that you need a certain type of antiseptic for.
Yep.
I mean, there's like maggots on these people. And when they tried to figure out why these people did not die from their burns, but they died from hospital bacteria that they contracted just being in there, it's the saddest deep dive into, okay, well, like the fucking antiseptic, the cleaner company.
The
why did he? Well, he pays off everybody in the hospital system, and then it just shows the corruption.
And Aaron Brockovich did all this. It's amazing.
So the corruption you see in Collective, and it's just a glimpse into. The problem is they couldn't even try to do something. Even they got a good guy in that Minister of Health. A good guy, a guy that like fought for all this he couldn't do anything. Everybody's paid off. Every single person is paid off.
Yeah,
so
that's what a third world is. It's just I've asked like the African dudes that work for Trevor. I'm like, how long is it going to take for Africa to get online? Like for just to be Western, and they were like, it's so corrupt.
That's what they mean.
It's impossible, and I think we've discussed it on here. It's also tribal that you can't get elected to office and not hire your family. Your family will it's unacceptable.
And you can't fire your family if
You're
you have
a piece
to hire
of shit,
them.
right? So, which is why in Western democracies, up until 4 years ago, you would hire the best people.
I mean that.
And then you wouldn't hire your family. You wouldn't hire anyone. It would just
people hire their family here. There's so much nepotism.
I'm talking about in the White House.
Okay.
Obama didn't hire Sasha Malia. Jimmy Carter didn't hire Billy. Right.
But weren't there laws after Kennedy about that?
That I'm sure. I don't know. Probably. Yeah, because
I think there's like weird laws.
Yeah, but they're in place for a reason. So, so that's what, again, civil, like, what do you want? What do you want? Because this is bad. That's bad if Trump gets elected and then just hires some of the people. I heard today on Franken's podcast that Trump hired, or no, maybe it wasn't Franken's podcast. He hired a ghost hunter. Or he put a ghost hunter up as some sort of judicial nomination. Guys, never tried a case. He was a ghost hunter.
What's the difference between nepotism and hiring your family? And
it's all. I think it's the same. As far as I know.
Well, hold on. Or hiring the people that like
loyalists.
Loyalists, or that gave so much contributions, or when
that's
people
one
have
of those things you can't.
Or when there's lobbyists. I mean, like, it's better than your family because it's like, dude, this guy gave me money.
Yeah. Your family's not going to give you money.
Fuck no.
Fucking like, have you been in that family? It's not cupcakes. I'll tell you that right now.
So what do you...
I don't...
What's the difference is what
between a lobby... I don't know. It's all corrupt.
I feel like we just dress our corruption up in a nice suit.
Yeah.
And at least there it's like, we diluted because my cousin.
Yeah. I remember, when we were in D.C. at the thing, and
Oh yeah, fucking Gotham City.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Although she was on 60 Minutes last night.
Who's she?
Miriam Bowser,
Oh,
the mayor. Anyhow,
Really?
emails, everybody.
no. What about your two?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Fuck.
Neal.
Neal, you gotta fucking, you gotta work these segments, bro.
What's going on with you?
Part 2 of Tiger. Did you watch it yet?
I haven't gotten into it, but I also don't like watching it one at a time. I get annoyed. That's HBO, right?
It's great. Yeah, it's
So
great.
I'm gonna wait.
And I had one.
Still good?
Yeah, it's really good. It's just, Greek tragedy.
Do you think his exes are hot?
I have a couple observations. One of them is he is the Tiger Woods of horrible sunglasses.
Really?
You've never seen him in a good pair of sunglasses. Every single pair of sunglasses are horrible.
Really?
Every single one. Yeah, like it's like it's a bit. Probably in the documentary.
Can you put?
You can't even. Yeah,
mind.
but just Tiger Woods sunglasses. Will just brought up Tiger Woods sunglasses, and it is a bloodbath.
So wait, hold on. Oh my
Not
God.
one good pair.
And they're all probably so expensive.
No, they're all Nike
Why is he
and
doing that?
and.
You don't. Oh, he's like the
he doesn't
dad
have
that
to
just
wear
puts
those.
the free stuff.
Right, he wears the free shit, but he never had a girl.
Taste. Why
I think
would
he
you?
was right to cheat on Elin because she never got
They're
his
so
sunglass game
bad.
right.
They're so.
They're all so bad.
What's going on here?
Yeah, they're all
that.
incredibly bad.
He looks blind. He looks blind.
Yeah, he reminds me of an old Paul Mooney joke, which is that they're working to restore Stevie's sight, and the people around him better be careful because when he sees how they've been dressing him, they're gonna really fuck him up.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so funny. This is very funny. So
What?
there's a woman in the documentary, a Vegas woman, who I dealt with in Vegas.
In what way?
I used to go, not like I used to go, like I was a regular. There was a point when I was doing the Jeremy Piven car picture where they were inviting people to Vegas a lot. I'm sure they still do. I'm just not in the circle. And they would invite SNL people for like hotel openings and shit.
Funny.
So I was there one weekend with, I'm sure I told the story where like I flew there with Piven. We got on the plane and Stallone's waiting for us on the plane.
Wow. What?
Crazy. And then we get there.
Is he nice?
Sylvester Stallone, very nice, but also is like a comic in that he knows what stories to tell.
Oh, good.
He knows his good stories.
Good.
I'll tell the stories. I told him on Rogan one time. So fucking funny. We get to the hotel. There's Bruce Willis. So it's like dinner with Bruce, just all these people. And then Seth, Catan, a bunch of other people were there. It was just fucking very fun and funny. Me and Seth are at some club, and this lady, Tiffany Masters, who's in the documentary, was there. And she was like hanging, like kind of hostess. We didn't know what the fuck was happening. So there's a point where two like drunk girls in their 20s seemed like they wanted to sleep with me. I didn't buy it.
Oh yeah, Neal.
But then Tiffany was talking to me, and then they got like into a spat.
What?
It's just some drunk.
They're fighting
club
over
shit.
you?
I know. I won't even.
Neal, you're not setting this story up.
Trust me.
Dude, 3 girls fought over you.
So, but meanwhile, Tiffany and I weren't a thing, and I don't know who
she
they.
was just getting jealous. She's like,
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah,
well,
literally. So
oh my God.
they start bickering, and the girls say to Tiffany, they go like, "What are you, like 35?" And one of the meanest things I've ever said, I go, "Tiffany, take the compliment."
That's so mean.
So fucking funny. When you
Neal,
watch
while
the documentary, know that I said that.
That's really funny. Was she mad about that?
She didn't hear me.
Oh, good.
And then,
Good, thank God.
because it's Vegas, I literally looked over there, and then the women were gone. I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, next deal." That's
Were
just
you annoyed
Vegas
at
is like,
Tiffany?
No, I didn't think it's just drunk people. It's Vegas, so it's just like then 2 more girls. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Not like literally 2 more girls are gonna come.
No, but it's not
just like
hard to get, hard to lose,
experiential
yeah.
blackjack, where you're just like, okay, next hand, and then 2 morons come and. No, I mean, again, I believe Have I ever? I don't think I've ever picked up a chick in Vegas.
Has a chick picked you up?
No, but I've never from you
He's
come to
pointing
my
and
room.
gesturing.
It's just not. In fact, one of the nights I went with Pip and I went to sleep at 9.
Ugh, Neal.
So what are you gonna do? Look, to do it all over again, I would have stayed. I would have taken my sweet no-dos and fucking fucking freedom.
Yeah, at 5 a.m. your alarm goes off. What is that?
Basically.
The Descent.
And the Dissident is
Dissident,
it's
my
another Jamal Khashoggi movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Different one?
It's very good. It's a better.
Which one's better?
It's better. The filmmaking's better in this one, in the Dissident, but the information isn't really better.
Is it the same?
It's the same story. I mean, what they do have in this one is they have the transcript of what happened to him.
What if you had to watch one? Because I want to watch, but I don't want to
watch The Dissident.
What was the other one called?
The Jamal Khashoggi movie.
Okay.
The Squeakquel. Jamal Khashoggi, The Squeakquel. Emails. It's very good.
Time to check that
Hey, Neal. Thanks for a great deep dive. This is from my friend Lucas, who is in the music biz and is very good looking. Thanks for the great deep dive discussion on last week's show about the Capitol Hicksurrection. 2 aspects that I haven't really seen reflected in the mainstream media that I loved you and Miss Sia's take on. Number 1, immediate optics aside, it honestly didn't involve a whole lot of people. Maybe 20,000 at the rally and 2,000 involved in the riot itself. That's an infinitesimal slice of 330 million population. Do you think there are millions, hundreds of thousands, or some other number of Trump supporters who are actually engaged enough to break the law, put lives on the line, to participate in a wider insurrection effort or some kind of civil war? That's A. And B, given that we spend over $1 trillion a year on defense and policing, do you think it's reasonable and not overly inflammatory to suggest that anyone attempting to disrupt the inauguration, attack other Capitol buildings, etc., should just get royally fucked up by the authorities if they try, or even just for squawking loudly enough about it, as would certainly happen with any foreign bad actors attempting such a thing? I mean, what the fuck are we spending that money on for exactly? That, and now we're number 2. It seems fairly clear to me, going all the way back to the BLM protests in the summer in the autonomous zones in Portland, that Trump's overall plan was to get his fuckwit supporters out on the streets, then have BLM, Antifa, and generally right-minded people get out there also to combat them. Then you have the whole martial law thing, et cetera, so forth and so forth. Yeah, the thing of it being a small percentage, one of them is called the 3%, which is because they're called the 3% because they believe that's how many colonialists actually fought in 1776. That's how many people they believe fought in the Revolutionary War. Apparently, it's been debunked. It's more than 3%, but it doesn't. They're willing to do that. I don't think they're outliers necessarily. Like, I don't think that they are like Antifa, where I'm like, I don't fucking know. It was an Olympic swimmer. It's 140 Congress people. This is not fringe.
Yeah.
They're all on the same side. So, and they're all worried about losing elections. So if you don't side with Trump, they're going to vote you out. So it's not fringe at all. It just isn't fringe. It's a major, major problem.
I think there would be more people if there was more access to.
If it was summer.
If it was summer, if it was like less COVID, even though not all of them care about that, I think some.
None of them care about it.
Some people really do.
Okay.
Some people do.
I mean, I can't prove you right. Wrong.
No, I just think there's older people who are,
Yeah.
like, if there was just, let's just say this happened in 2019, and it was summer.
Yeah, I
There'd
think it would.
be-
I think it would have been more World War Z. So I don't think it's a niche problem at all. And as I said last week, I hope they. This is the whiplash I have. I hope they dust off. I hope they waterboard them. How about that? I hope they put hoods on them and shuffle them around in Cuba. I hope that these people I hope that they never see the light of day again. That's my sincere hope for living. Sometimes I want to go. Neal goes. I like to go third world every once in a while. I like to go.
Once in a while.
I have a little penchant for the third world. You know I love Thailand.
Goodbye. You've got
Hello,
mail.
Neal and Binks, LSCNR from day one. Here's my situation. I've been with my current girlfriend for 4 months. Outside of a specific issue, things are good. Here's the tea. When I met my girlfriend, she pitched herself as someone who had never had sex and didn't have a lot of partners. She then went on to tell me her number, 11, of men she slept with, which isn't high, but she has told me multiple times she's not sexual and never enjoyed having sex. She went on to say she's only been with people she saw a future with, but they would end up cheating on her because of lack of sex. This now translates into our current situation, and to be honest, I just don't believe her. Here's the wrench. After we hooked up the second time we hung out, she texted me the next day saying she had herpes and told me to leave if I was uncomfortable. We took the steps, all clear here, and I gave her the benefit because we were drunk. After further convo, I'd found out recently she was with someone else during quarantine, and she didn't disclose info to him either. Started to lose trust in her. And I have way too much doubt about her past to really let it go. I do love her, but is it enough? What should I do? To me, something about her just doesn't add up, and I feel if every single boyfriend breaks up or cheats on you, there's a bigger issue I should be looking for. She was a party girl back in the day and did a lot of blacking out and drinking, and I did tell her that if I had known, I wouldn't have gotten involved. Help!
Dude.
Thanks, and play the Bink song more.
Yes, cue Bink song.
Sorry. There. Yeah, that's the one. That's actually not the right song. We were looking for the sex one that makes Bianca uncomfortable. There you go.
Yeah.
She hates it. It makes you.
No, it's just funny to me because Will just plays it in funny times.
I like when I think
I
you
like
play it
it.
right.
Yeah,
I
know.
disagree with most of what Will does
I know,
on the
but
job.
I like it.
But
Okay.
this guy.
What's going on, dude?
The
Run.
girl is.
Break up. Get out of
she's
here.
a liar.
She's a liar.
Weird.
She's a grifter.
Yeah, you'll be lucky. She basically already stole your identity, and you don't even know it yet.
It's like, you're giving her a pass on so many, like, why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
So she fucked someone else.
I guess before they met. It seemed like
they met what? When? In quarantine?
I don't know.
4 months. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. She's not being honest with you and probably not being honest with herself, which means that a lot of work. Means a lot of work, dude.
And also, if you see a future with somebody and you get blackout drunk to fuck, what? What future in your blackout? You saw a future with them? Come on.
No,
what are you?
She's
what
like
are
that,
you?
You know that one kid that when you're in elementary school just lies?
Yeah.
Or takes things? And the one that everyone's a little weary of?
I haven't talked about Dave very much this episode, but one time I had this conversation with him. I was like, remember the kid who lies? And he goes, Dave's like, yeah, I used to lie all the time. And I go, what? He goes, I'd go like, on Friday, I'd say like, I have a dog. And then on Monday, I'd say he ran away. So what are you going to do?
At least he completed it.
Yeah. Yeah, this woman's just a liar. This woman sounds oily. Do you know what I mean?
No, not really, actually.
I'm going to leave it at that. She sounds oily.
Okay.
I'm not going to explain it.
Yeah, he's like those QAnon people. I mean, do your own research.
Yeah, do your own research.
Goodbye.
Hi, Neal. Have you ever... Oh, this is great.
Okay.
You've got
Hey,
mail.
Neal, have you ever heard of disorganized attachment? I'm a psychologist, and I completed my dissertation on attachment theory. I
have so many
obviously
questions.
can't form an opinion without a full assessment, but you sound more like someone with a disorganized attachment style. This turns into fear-avoidant attachment in adulthood. This is very different from the class of dismissive avoidant attachment that we all think of when we hear avoidant attachment. I don't feel like getting into specifics. The fucking guy. I'd say it's a woman. That's what Google's for. However, I can say that
Wow.
originally disorganized attachment was believed to be an attachment style formed in people who had suffered from extreme emotional abuse, such as being raised in a cage.
Wow.
Alternately, more recent research has shown that children of alcoholics addicts typically end up with this attachment style. This is due to the unpredictable nature of their emotional, psychological, or even physical safety in an environment when an alcoholic or addicted parent. Hopefully this information was helpful. It wasn't.
I know. I was like, well, what is it?
It wasn't helpful. I can do you one better. It wasn't helpful.
What
Tony?
is the symptoms? What is the
I have to look now.
characteristics?
I have to do my
Google
own
it?
research about
Dude,
disorganized
Tony.
attachment style, and all I ever want to know with these attachment styles, and I fear I know the answer, which is,
What?
can I break it?
So most of it, no.
I know.
That's the fucked up thing, because
In that case, Bianca, don't tell me about it.
I know. I dated someone, and I was like, that was weird. And I talked to my therapist about it, and he's like, he told me a very specific attachment style disorder he had, and I looked it up. I was like,
By the numbers.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
People with attachment type of issues, life sentence for your partner.
Yeah.
So anybody got time?
Unless they do ayahuasca.
Yeah, no, really. I mean,
I don't want to put out an advisory about ayahuasca, but here's what I want to say about ayahuasca. Did it again last weekend. And know this about ayahuasca. It is so massive as a plant, as an experience. It's such a massive experience. Just, I want to prepare you for how massive it is. Any listener. It is, as far as I'm concerned, you are going to meet a God. You're going to meet a God form. So if you're, what I realized after last weekend is how comforting atheism was.
Yeah.
In that it was kind of dependable. Not like this spirit isn't dependable, but
it's really easy to process. It's just like, yeah.
yes.
nothing.
Yes. Nope, there's nothing. Thank you.
Bite-sized chewables.
Hey, what's behind that wall? Nothing.
I go.
Any other questions?
Right.
And now my belief system has been shattered. And it's, like I said about ayahuasca, as I said to somebody, it's impossible. From what I understand, my conception of reality, ayahuasca is impossible. And yet you drink it and it's possible.
You know what's weird? When I did it, at the end of it, and mine was a real fucking brain melter, but at the end of it, something kind of said plant medicines are not recreational. So weed, shrooms, anything. And they're really medicine, and we abuse it. And it said, don't come back for a while. And that's why sometimes I want to go back, but I'm like, I don't know. Told me not to come back.
Yeah.
Specifically was like, don't come back here for a while. Not don't come back here ever.
But I didn't doubt your intentions. I didn't think you were there for like this. She's here to party.
No, meaning like I think what it felt like was that whatever was talking to me and communicating with me and the experience I had, it was like you got what you're supposed to get. You gleaned what we needed you to get. Mm-hmm. You don't need to come back for a hot minute.
Yes.
That's what I felt.
Yeah.
But then, some people really need to work on things.
Yeah. I mean, it's
like that one documentary, the lady was there 65 times.
Yeah. One of the shaman I've been dealing with over 3,000.
So.
And yeah, but it's just know that I don't think I talk about it like a party drug, but
no, if someone thinks it's a party drug, please do not do ayahuasca.
There were a lot. There was a lot of euphoria in some of the times I've done it, but it's mostly like it's about as sometimes it can be incredibly unpleasant, and it feels like just getting your computer rebooted.
Yeah, totally.
Where it's like, this isn't great. This is not very comfortable.
No, but if you have things to work through
yes.
that you've used medicine for or maybe you haven't used medicine for, but you find it challenging to be your own therapist through.
Yeah.
And like literally ayahuasca will help you. So it may be uncomfortable and rough, and you may see and feel some things that frankly are the most terrifying things you'll ever feel.
Yeah, and
But-
also physically physically nauseating, physically terrifying, physically heartbeaty. But you're better off for it. It's like a horrible journey on a ship, and at the end of it, you're like a better man for it.
Yeah, it's at the end. My OCD is 95% gone.
Incredible.
So
I believe that my depression, because I haven't taken Zoloft 4 months
since
before
we did
the
it.
first time. I used to have a dip in the floor, and the dip is gone. Meaning, like the dip
Dip in
has
the
been
floor? What's
paved
a dip?
over. Dip, just emotionally, a state I could get into that was a dip.
how easily could you get there?
It was all the time, not all the time, but a lot.
Like in the day, do you just did something trigger a memory that spun you down into that ditch? Or was it just like, nothing's wrong? And
No,
I
it was
feel
sometimes
weird.
triggering, but sometimes it was just like my general mood, my general disposition. There was a dip. And after not even a very pleasant experience, the dip has been sealed over, and they got the telescopes thing where they do the
yeah, that whatever
it's
they're
flat,
doing.
yeah, the thing, it's flat now. It's officially flat, and it's not gonna be the two yellow shitty telescopes that stand on the other side.
It's a bad compass.
I'm positive it's paved over.
What if do you keep going so frequently because you're scared there's gonna be a crack in it, or you're just
At first. Now I don't think there will be.
I'm so far away from the intrusive thoughts. There weren't a lot, mind you. I'm not like, I would never go to a therapist. When I go to my therapist, I never talk about my anxiety or my OCD ever. And when I told my therapist I had OCD, he was like, "No, you don't." And I'm like, "Oh, boo boo. Yes, I do." And then when I told him, and he was sad for a day because he thought he failed. He's like, "I can't believe I didn't know this." I'm like, if I don't tell you, it's fine. But I'm not even a bad case, and I don't even remember. It's like, doesn't it kind of feel like you're a different?
Yeah,
Those
it
thoughts are
feels
from
like
a
a
different
reboot.
person.
I mean, it's not in that it's not like a new. It's not brand new. It's just like, this is better. Like it's a little bit like, oh, this is better. This is like the other last weekend when I did it, it was one of the themes was like, enough with the grievance. Just constant fucking, like I'd wake up in the morning and be like, fuck them. Like every day I'd wake up and be like, think of a fucking someone who'd wronged me. And that was all day.
Exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm exhausted. Look at me, I'm exhausted. And since last weekend, it's been gone.
Question: do you feel like a re-up? Do you feel like, oh, cool, like replenished after you do ayahuasca to that like nice Neal to
I haven't
Padre,
had the
or do you
halo.
feel
The Padre, he's not dead. It's a milder, it's
He moved
far
next-
milder Padre.
he lives in Huntington?
He lives in
Beach.
Huntington Beach.
He lives in
You
Boyle
looking for
Heights.
the Padre? Change of address.
So do
There's
you
a Padre song, Will. I was going to play it. What happened?
play it?
Spirit Padre he exists, but he's more like, he doesn't have a poncho on. He's got like a decent suit right now.
Right.
So it's shit that's very hard to put your finger on.
Meaning, but I'm just saying, do you get replenished, or do you feel different? Is it a different after effect every time? Or does it feel like
So far,
that?
it's been a different after effect every time.
Does it ever, like, let's say the first time it kind of helped with your snappiness. Does
Yep.
that stay and then another thing gets improved? Or does that kind of fade and then another thing gets worked on?
With the
Can you tell?
snappiness, it's hard to say. Like,
Will can
I think
tell
it's just, yeah.
Will can tell you.
Fade it.
Thank you. You're welcome. Spirit Padre is here.
Speed Project out.
Yeah, like the stuff that I'm aware of the last time. The last 2 times. The last 2 times, one of them was after 10 days, I realized that my dip was sealed over.
That's good.
And it's great. And like, I don't think I'm ever going to need antidepressants again.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, I'm pretty sure. I can't be that sure, but it feels like granite. The dip.
Like, that's not.
Like, no, that's not going to happen. But it's,
God,
again,
Neal,
you're talking about
that's
like a
good.
non-dimensional thing. And then this past time, there was like a thing about heaviness and sort of a healing.
Yeah.
Again.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
You'll get it. Either you'll get there or you won't.
You get it, or it just sounds cheap.
And again, you know what I'm like. So a woman did a healing on me, and I felt 20 pounds lighter emotionally.
Outside of the
5 minutes afterward.
I want the healing. Can you get it without the ayahuasca?
You can't. Here's the thing about the healing: cannot request it.
Fucking really? That's so weird.
You cannot request it. They have to be inspired to heal you.
Can I just like go walk, like visit this lady?
No, she's not a healer. She's one of the shaman's
it goes
apprentices.
Through her, and then
there's a part of the ceremony where people are channeling, and she channeled heal. Some of them can heal.
Well,
and when I tell you she healed me, I swear to God.
Yeah, no, it's
true.
you. It's you. So.
Yeah. But maybe it's a halo and it'll fade. I don't know.
There's a show called The Bling Empire, which is another trashy reality show, but it's all Asian people in LA.
I tried watching it. I couldn't get into it.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
No, it's not good. It's interesting. I watched bad reality TV, so I could, but after 2 episodes, it was on in the background while I was doing something else. But at one point, this guy's like, I brought my shaman to our bonfire. Uh-huh. So this is like the most LA shit. So this black guy comes and he does. You showed me what they do, and he goes like, I'm doing like hardcore like karate chopping. He's like, okay, so this is what's going on, and then. It's a show, so who cares? I only thought about it because you told me there's some hand shit going on when they heal, and it sounds like fucking hocus pocus.
Yep.
So I would have never even thought to entertain that could have been true in the fucking Bling Empire on Netflix, only because you told me that someone did some shit.
This works. Literally, they do that.
He's doing a blowing with his hip.
Like a fist that's like on your stomach, and you're.
It's like babies entertaining babies, and then you find a coin.
You know what I said? I said it's like air guitar but surgery. They literally do fake knots, not fake knots, but like air knots. They do air sutures. And the woman said an angel came and was incredibly gentle with me, and she's never seen an angel be that gentle.
Oh, that's amazing. This is so
I'm me.
It only works. This information is only valuable because it's you.
Yeah,
me.
that's
like
because I have credibility. Yes.
Yeah, fucking right.
I'm a man that cynics turn to for strength.
Cynic Padre?
Yeah, I'm a cynic Padre.
Goodbye. You've got
Howdy,
mail.
Neal and Biancers. Is it safe to say that every single person who stormed the building or even gathered in D.C. this past Tuesday suffers from some degree of mental illness?
Neal,
People have argued correctly for a while that the country needs to have a more open national dialogue about mental health. I'm wondering if you guys think that this weird moment in history can be used to illustrate the importance of that. Sincerely, Neal. Sometimes I have to get the message out. I have to write to the show. Yes.
Goodbye. You've
hey,
got
Neely
mail.
and Neely Feely and Binky Winky. Hope you guys aren't tired of talking about mental health.
Oh, no.
Whoops. I've recently been considering becoming vegan to help regulate my mood. I have borderline personality disorder. And since cutting out sugar a year ago, I noticed a significant difference. I'm wondering, how much do you think being a vegan has actually improved your mood? As a side note, I totally agree with everything you've said about therapists and how frustrating it is to navigate treatment plans and the mental health system. Finding your Netflix special and podcast really opened my eyes to all the different options I could try. Thanks for being a human guinea pig for us depressed people everywhere. Best. I don't believe that veganism changed my mood at all. I used to tell people that when they go, "You feel better?" I go, "Nope, sure don't." I don't think it improved my mood at all. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
But I believe-
I'm sure it's better for you.
Yeah. Of course it's better for you. And if you believe sugar changed your mood, then
Yeah.
You've heard us talk about borderline. It's a fucking hard one. It's not
Yeah,
bipolar,
borderline is-
but borderline's.
Explain it for people. It's just
Borderline is like if a mood was a weather system, borderline people get weather systems without warning.
flash flood.
Flash flood, and they think you hate them, and you can't convince them otherwise. And they're mood craters, and it's just like everybody hates me. Or they'll stop talking to you because they think you hate them.
Yeah.
Or it's just very mercurial, and
I think I dated someone with borderline. Also it's one of the ones. It's one of the mental health disorders you can't directly tell the person. They can't. They're like, nah.
Oh, because I know someone that was diagnosed with. I know 2 people that have been diagnosed.
They get diagnosed, but I guess the way you diagnose them,
Surprise party.
it's a little. You can't just. You have to do it a certain way. Like when the therapist suspects it's borderline, it's like it's a slow massage.
So great.
But and it was always I was either a fucking asshole or the queen of the world. There's no in between.
Yeah.
It was so exhausting. I was like,
Yeah.
can I just be chill? Can we just chill?
A buddy of mine used to unfollow me all the time on Twitter, and finally I was like, "What's happening?"
Wait, that's
He'd unfollow me and then follow me, and unfollow me and follow me.
that. Some people do, and it's like
And
I
was
didn't
like,
know
"What's
you.
going on, buddy?" And he finally just told me, "I'm borderline," and it's like, okay. And he'll call me sometimes, and be like, "Everybody hates me." And you say, "Okay, all right."
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hey, Soy Boy and beautiful Binky.
Yay.
I'm calling in because probably every other episode, Neal mentions that people who have babies are irresponsible environmentally.
Pause it real quick.
Get him.
Thank you for reminding me. If you have babies, you're a climate denier. Go ahead. You're a climate change denier. And also, if you have babies, you're as good as an anti-masker. And fuck it, anti-vaxxer. Let's
Okay.
double down. Go ahead.
And it's the worst thing for the environment,
Uh-huh.
which it's probably true. But I'm calling because I'm wondering what Neal thinks we should do about this. Does he think that we should stop having babies altogether and then just end humanity? Or does he want more of a selective process? Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Neal. What the fuck?
Lottery. Thank you for asking. Lottery system. We figure out the amount of people we can have that the Earth can sustain. By the way, there was a stat a few weeks ago that there's now more shit on Earth that's made by human beings than it weighs more than the Earth. It's so disgusting.
Yes.
It weighs more than the ocean and the mountains. It's so gross. And yeah, we just figure out what's the right amount of people that's sustainable, and then you just do a lottery, and you can sell your slot. I would sell my slot.
Yeah, but I looked it up after one of the times you said it,
Uh-huh.
and the number one.
I got
thing,
a compost bin out back, by the way. I added it this week. Go ahead. I'm gonna be bulletproof.
I know. No,
And
it's
people
not
can't
about
touch
you.
me.
But obviously having more people is not good. But there are we all have sex, which is how you make people. So no one's saying stop having sex.
I'm not saying
over
stop
the-
having. Just
I know.
where-
No, I know. I'm saying
Yeah.
no one's saying stop having sex.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying it doesn't, like, of all the things to take aim at, I feel like having kids is the lowest, because that's one thing I feel like is going to be the hardest to change. But there's so much other shit that we do.
Oh yeah, I think that there's
Like the number
10
one
things
is,
in front
is
of it.
combustible, like
Yeah.
is just like
Yes.
is just the
Cars.
emissions
Gases,
from
fossil
everything.
fuels, et cetera,
Fossil
et cetera.
fuels, yeah, everything like that. That's number one. And then
Yep.
when you break it down, it's like you fly a lot. That's not good.
Not anymore.
Okay, no one's flying anymore. I'm just saying before, like you do. I was like, okay.
Gotcha.
Yes, yeah.
Podcast
Freedom.
over forever.
We do things that I just feel a little bit like
I buy carbon offsets for flying.
What do you do?
You can buy. They'll plant an amount of trees to offset how much shit you spew.
No, I understand, but in the end, the spewing happens instantly. Whereas, like, what a tree eventually is going to help.
Trees. That's the great thing about this.
That's so crazy. So I'm just saying that there's
got you squeakle.
So there's just a lot more things we can do and take aim at before it's let's not have kids.
Well, no, but people aren't doing that either.
Oh, I know,
people aren't doing
it's
any
so
of
much.
it.
But what I'm saying is, it's so much. It just makes more sense to me to, I guess, the messaging be things people can totally do.
Yes.
Than that. I think you're just being partly being funny, but sometimes
Yeah.
you don't sound like you're being funny. So it's like, okay.
Bianca,
Sometimes you're
the environment's
not being funny.
deadly serious. Some things are not. People ask me, Neal, are some things you won't joke about? And I tell them, I'd say, have a seat. And the environment's one of them. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
I don't think we've met. I'm Neal. Of course I'm being funny, but people won't even eat less meat. Like, people won't do anything, so I'm just goading them.
Goodbye.
Cool.
Carbon offsets. Look them up. Instant trees.
Instant trees.
Instant trees.
You've got mail.
It's the
Neal
guy from
Bianca,
Impractical Jokers.
I was recently at the dentist for a filling, and when the guy started drilling on my tooth, immediately went into a rant about QAnon and Pizzagate, saying that celebrities are pedophiles. If you see pizza symbols, it's a sign for a pedophile ring. Crazy shit like that. Is this just a sign that I need a new dentist, or is this what I got to expect with people in 2021? How Neal feel, and what think you?
I mean, I guess there's just a certain amount of dumb shit. Is there a certain amount of dumb shit that everyone's going to believe? You know what I mean? Because if you look at, it's QAnon now, and they were like, in one of the articles, they said, well, we wonder why so many evangelical people believe. You can't figure that out? The fake story thing, nothing? So I think there's a permissible amount of dumb shit, and then at a certain point, it's just this is too much.
I liked that. It was on the internet. I think you also posted it, but I did see it on I don't know, Twitter, Reddit. The triangle of the amount of conspiracy theories. It's like, okay, that's fine. And then it just gets
the hierarchy.
The hierarchy, and then it just gets and I remember when I looked, I'm like, yes, not bad, good, pretty good. But the amount of people I know that get higher and higher up, and not all of these people I know are my close friends. I mean, there's plenty of people who work in comedy that it's like, what?
Yeah.
In entertainment that you're fucking confused about because you share common bonds and you can have a good conversation with the. So I guess to ask his question again, do you think there's going to be more, do you think it's become more commonplace to just talk about really fucking weird conspiracies aloud and not in the corners of the internet?
I don't know. I think people are going to there's going to be fights in public. Honestly, if
Fights
people are
in public
drinking, it'll be hard for me not to scream at people.
Yeah.
And I'm a spirit padre. It'll be hard for me not to scream at people. Some of these people, I'm friends with John and Chrissy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're talking about people that I know. What
they're doing to Chrissy is so mean.
Shut the fuck. That's one of those things where I don't. I've talked about it before. When Dave went to Africa, there was a thing about how Bill Cosby appeared on his television, and just you're so fucking dumb. Stop it. Yeah. Well, I don't think. No, I'm in it.
I know.
I'm in it. So don't tell me what's happening. I think this guy's has got to turn to self-dentistry, do his own teeth.
Okay.
I think you quit your dentist. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't get worse, but nothing ever doesn't get worse.
Right.
So But I haven't heard 5G or Bill Gates in 6 months, so that's good.
True.
Goodbye. You've
Hello,
got
Binks,
mail.
Big Rig Binks, and ayahuasca flock of flame. Of course, but we'll accept it. In an episode a few months ago, you two talked about using shame as a way to change people's behavior. I'm obviously paraphrasing here, but Neal mentioned that slut shaming and fat shaming could be effective in some ways. It wasn't mean-spirited, but I think Neal was basically saying that making someone feel bad about their destructive behavior was at least one option when trying to get them to be more careful or take control of a vice. More recently, Uncle Neal talked about liberals belittling Republicans and having no interest in even considering their point of view, which is not an effective way to change someone's mind. And I think that's true on policy and morality stuff. But here's my question. If shaming can work on sluts and fatties, this is hopefully from Mark Norman.
Did you write this, Neal?
Isn't it reasonable to ramp up the shaming of fucking idiots who deny facts like the election results, climate change, COVID-19, etc.? The only problem with that, though, is that people being shamed can use bad faith arguments like, you're just treating me like I'm stupid because I'm a Republican. To wrap this long bitch up, let me just say I'm not pulling the cornball move of trying to make you sound like a hypocrite or whatever. I genuinely think you have drawn some intellectual lines between the effectiveness of shame and flatly telling someone their arguments aren't based in reality, and I'm curious how that looks. You
didn't read the fun part.
How Nealski feelski, and what does Binkosaurus thinkosaurus?
It's good.
Bianca loves this. That's the fun part. That's the playground to Bianca.
Yay!
I don't know, man. I don't know how to. There was articles about how to handle the QAnon people. I don't.
Let's just not say QAnon. Let's just say the people who are like one step below.
Conspiracy theory. Just anyone
more
with
towards
a
us,
that
a
are
little bit.
not reality based. That are not reality based. How do you? I've seen things like you can't yell at them, you can't shame them, you can't. I don't know what to say if somebody. I can walk away if I'm not close with them. If I'm close with them, I think at a certain point you have to go, look, man, I don't agree with you. And it's not even a matter of agreement. That's not my reality. And the reality I live in is what was known as reality until 2012.
Yeah.
Like I can't play that game with you. So we can't be friends anymore. And you're an ultimatum. I don't know I can't live a life where someone I care about believes this. So
it's so confusing because I feel like
it's
I have
it's
things
almost
I have to
a
do.
world first where you have to convince people of what is happening.
Of what isn't happening.
Well, whatever. What you have to agree, like what's happening, meaning Joe Biden. Everyone voted.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
240 million people voted, and 150 million people voted.
It's like a reverse Mandela effect. It's
And,
like
no. So now this happened, and that's what happened, because they're getting a stream of disinformation and nonsense. So you just have to go. I can't. I can't. It doesn't exist in my reality. And I hope. You don't even have to put like I pray for you, any of that shit. You just go. It's not my reality, and that's the end of the relationship.
You know what?
I think, but again, I no human beings ever had to deal with this. So.
The funny thing about QAnon and the fact that it's like rooted in, it's all about protecting abused children.
Yeah.
And then I read an article, actually, and then I heard the Daily did a thing on how bad. So the body that goes after child trafficking on the internet and child porn and pornographic stuff, it's so overwhelmed in the last, like apparently there's so much more child pornography and child abuse and child sex trafficking now than ever before. That and they're so overwhelmed that they only, so this is kind of sad and disgusting, but they can only prioritize
the worst
under like 2 or under 1 because that's how little people stay in that department because it's just so awful.
It's unbearable.
And they have to prioritize infants. They can't even toddler, like you're out. An infant they have to prioritize. And that's even just like in LA, I think they can't even go and pursue other forms of abuse because there's so much. So to me, QAnon, like if you're really about saving, why is the problem getting worse? I mean, like it's so easy to dispel. And a friend of mine who is like, I don't know what's going on with her, is all this like save the children shit on her social media. And I'm like, this is not helpful.
Yeah, they're jamming the system with nonsense.
It's
already
like, God.
It's already bad, and then they're jamming it with they're just making it worse.
It's just depressing when you think about it.
Just go pick up trash. Like if you want to
Go
fucking
rake?
help the world, go rake the park. Rake the park. Pick up trash.
I just get a
soup kitchen. Just there's things you can do that are actual that can help people today.
It's so depressing. I'm starting to get a dip.
Poof, seal over. I got just some juice.
Seal
Seal
over.
right over that thing.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hola, Nardo and Bekinster.
I miss Nardo.
Neal, I agree that we should all live with eyes open to the environmental consequence of our lifestyle, and it's great that you're non-procreating, carbon-offsetting vegan, but I don't think that the mask analogy fits. We're all connected to a vast social and economic engine that's doing great damage to the planet. When it comes to climate change, almost none of us are really wearing a mask except for Buddhist monks and those people who bought tickets to the cruise ship that Bill Burr torpedoed. That's a crossover episode right there. Anyone living a first world lifestyle is complicit in the damage, and although your choices are admirable and worth emulating, don't kid yourself. It's a chin strap mask at best, and your elegant schnoz is still hanging out. Look, I love a good bullseye
That
right
was
in the middle of my
good.
face.
Nardo out.
Yeah, but pal, people aren't doing as much as me, and they oughta. And if everyone did, it would end the meat industry. It's just there. It's all a lot of the ecosystem shit of just like, what am I going to do? Amazon sent me a box, which I am a major part of.
Yeah.
Would be just do what you do more than you are doing. That's all I'm saying. Like I've said to people like rich dudes, like, hey, you want to drive my Tesla? You want to test drive it? No. I don't even want to. I need the engine. I need to hear pistons. Cool.
But I mean, when I looked into it, a huge issue in climate change, a huge factor is electricity that comes from our grid.
From coal, yeah. But it doesn't. A lot of it's hydroelectric, solar. There's other means.
There are others. I just mean that like everyone is contributing. So why don't we just go to the biggest factor we can actually target and concentrate on?
Fossil fuels.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not. But electricity is going to take their place. Then you have to go. I don't want. Then get my electricity from not coal.
Right.
There are you go okay, and they go, problem's here now. You go, all right, let's fix that problem.
I know.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Oh, this is kind of good, I think.
Yeah,
Neal and Binks. I just had a fight with my girlfriend about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Been there. She was watching a video of Arnold denouncing the storming of the Capitol with swelling violin music in the background. Granted, he was saying good stuff, but when he whipped out the Conan sword, I laughed. My girlfriend, in tears from Arnold's speech, was disgusted at my laughter and accused me of being cynical, and it blew up into a fight. I think she thought that because I was laughing at Arnold, I was also invalidating her feelings in a roundabout way. Usually women don't do that. I don't know how that's happened. This one got away from us. If she thinks what he's saying is great and I laugh at it, then I'm indirectly laughing at her. I'm fine having disagreements in a relationship. Obviously, there are some things like core values that should be closely aligned, but for the most part, I think disagreement is normal and healthy. H&F, and what does the Afro-Latinx Minx Binks thinks?
Oh my God, that was so good.
Crushed it. Best we've ever had.
Best we've ever had, and you nailed it, Neal.
On the first try.
With that moist ass mouth, you nailed it.
Mouth moisture match. Yeah. I don't even know what the question is.
What? Wait,
You know what? It was worth it
was
just
so
for the
good.
Afro Latinx Minx Binks thinks.
Oh no! Here you say there are some things like core values that should be aligned. Basically to date.
I like fighting.
Yeah, you do. But how close? Because if you liked her and then she's like, "I'm MAGA,"
Oh yeah, then goodbye.
Goodbye.
how much of a fight? Like, what is like fun fights to you? Like, was this movie
I
good?
like fighting
or-
about men and women, just generally,
Yeah.
like you and I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I just think it's
It's
the
spirited.
number one issue
It is.
affecting couples
Okay.
are gender differences, and but like politics.
Yeah, you don't want to be that
Most
far off with
people
politics.
aren't. You gotta be fucking. You gotta feel pretty much the same thing. I mean, you kind of want it to be where she's me, meaning she's a fucking soy boy, and talk shit about climate change and all that stuff.
Yeah, you're on the same side. You can just debate.
Yeah, it's
like
just
which
it's spectrum issues. So yeah. But how about you?
Same. I feel like, okay, for example, me and you. I don't think this isn't, the Hannity and Combs.
It's not existential.
No,
it's
this
very
isn't-
rarely.
What is it? Crossfire. Like
Yeah.
these aren't. I don't. The ones where you go in knowing that guy is the left and this guy's the right. I don't know how fruitful they end up being, because
Well, they can't say anything original. They just
No, they
have
can't.
to.
They have to
what's
go
the-
back to-
Here's what I think, and it's like in this band of fucking.
yeah. So that's not interesting to me, and I wouldn't want to be sleeping with that, because it would be really.
Sniffest. Surprise me.
so
Goodbye.
same,
You've got mail.
Hello, Neal and Bianca. When talking about Hilaria Baldwin's scandal, Neal
Yeah.
mentioned that white people's culture is so non-existent that they have to steal from other people's cultures. As a white woman, I completely agree with this take. She can't even come with an original take. I find myself envious of other cultures because mine feels so lacking. One time I attended a Jewish engagement party where I was the only Gentile present. It made me envious of the community and the support my friend had because of her Jewish heritage. Obviously, I'm not forgetting the struggles that Jewish people have had throughout history. I'm forgetting it. And I'm talking about their culture and support. Bianca, what aspects of your mixed heritage do you embrace the most? Neal, do you embrace anything besides your Irish Catholic guilt?
Yeah, Neil. What else?
I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Love the podcast. What do you embrace?
Really, family. That the family aspect, education.
Is that
being-
a special? Do you think that's? I mean, what do you consider yourself, and where do you get that?
Both sides is really family oriented. I feel
Right.
like that's just the number
Most
one
people
thing.
are family oriented.
Right, but even compared to Americans, it's like it's like an extra closeness that you get with immigrant people.
The
I don't
Italians would like to speak with you for a second.
know why. Okay.
So family. What's Caribbean, Iranian, Afro Latinx, Pinks mix?
Just I don't know how to explain it, but it's more this the sense of community, getting together. I'm always the one that like gathers people, even with my friend circle. I'm kind of the gatherer. You just like a steady, like, hey, let's do this on Sunday. Let's do this on Saturday. Come, I'll make food and check in. And, I don't take much time in between. I'm always just family-wise feeling like, I don't know, like just this. I feel like there's more keeping up appearances within immigrant families.
Meaning,
I see it in others. It's not just mine. So I just notice
like
that.
you just whether you want to go or not, you go
Well, you
because
find
you're gonna hurt Mama.
No.
Oh, Mama wants you
No,
there.
you want to go. You want to go. Like you want to go. It's not like
Yeah.
you're gonna go. Thing. Just the hanging out with just like a lot of family time, a lot of sitting, no agenda, no plan, sitting with your family, talking a lot.
Yeah.
No end time. No. Okay.
Yeah. Just
Time to
kicking
go.
it.
Kicking it
Yeah.
hardcore all the
Yeah.
time. Like nothing, nonsense, just kicking it. So that I feel like I don't see that as much, just aimless kicking it with all your family. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. But also,
Last time that we had a Brennan family reunion.
yeah, you guys call it a family reunion. It's
Yeah.
like, what?
Because we
why are you reuniting?
Because we disunited.
You're like,
Because we kept our distance.
like, it's so
And,
rare with white people. They make shirts.
You're a bitch. You're a filthy Iranian bitch. It was so. Me and Kevin, my brother, sponsored it, and anyhow, he ended up punching me in the face on day 4. And
Day
then
4, where'd you
another
go?
sister told one of the other sisters that she's a bad mom. It broke down pretty quickly.
This
that was
is so good.
That
Can you
was
write a
in
movie about this?
2000. That was in the year 2000.
In the year
So
2000.
actually, it was 2002. It was 2002 because I had a videotape of a pilot I'd worked on with Dave Chappelle.
I need you to. Can you write this into something funny?
It's not. It's a tragedy. It's not
that's
funny
why
at
I
all.
asked.
It wasn't
Okay.
wacky. It was painful
Oh.
and
All
pretty
right.
gross.
Goodbye. You've got
Hey,
mail.
Neal Bianca. Happy New Year. I have a quick question. I was wondering if you have any recommendations for books about the history of stand-up and comedy in general. No, just go on Google. And while you're there, look up disorganized attachment format.
We need to know.
If you don't mind. Just go on. I'm reading one right now at Seinfeld's recommendation called The Comedians, which is about the comedians of the 50s who were the first generation of comics to write stand-up from their point of view and not just like, take my wife, please. Mort Saul, etc. Nichols and May, great artists.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hey, Neal. Hey, NileFile and Bianca the Thonka. LSCNER.
Oh, that's nice.
This week you mentioned your distaste for people mouthing your words. I myself used to get called out for this throughout my school years. It has since passed, thankfully. R.I.P. Queen. It wasn't until a few years ago, however, while speaking with a fellow ADHD diagnosed person, that they do it too. Turns out their doctor mentioned it's not an uncommon trait amongst those with neurodivergent diagnoses. I have a neurodivergence where I can't say neurodivergent. Diagnoses, i.e. autism spectrum, ADHD. It stems from our tendency toward hyperfocus and hyperfixation. As Bianca mentioned, it does coincide with trying to pay more attention to things that are interesting. I would say it's a form of active listening. Okay. By the way, that brings up the thing. I don't want people to call themselves feelers. I want them to call themselves active listeners because it's funnier to me.
I like feelers.
I think, okay.
Well, both. Yeah,
you
both.
let us know.
Which one do you guys like?
Let them vote with their sign-offs.
Okay.
Let them vote with
Yeah,
Neal,
okay.
I'm an active listener. Neal, I'm a feeler.
Okay.
You know where your bread is buttered, and you know that I will Venmo people for helping me win.
I will storm your capital.
I hate to be the one to tell you this, Neal. I love how every letter is like, Neal, hey,
Breaking
Neal.
it out.
But hey, you
Neal.
sit out. But
Hey.
it may even be considered somewhat insensitive to call out, say it's annoying, or telling people to cut that shit out. Although I can't speak for those that mouth what you're saying. Personally, I think it's just a hilarious and more of a general quirkiness. Who knows? And maybe this is an evolutionary theory, but what if it's an evolution of the brain in anticipating social behaviors of others?
Yeah, what if,
are your
dude?
thoughts? What if? That'll be wild. Another thing that we can't talk about?
That's so insensitive.
That's so wild. And those people are hurting. Those people are throwing themselves off bridges because of me telling them to knock it off. Anyhow, we love
Goodbye.
the listeners.
You've got mail.
Hey, Bianca and Neal. So I watched The Accusation. I'm like 95% sure she's telling the truth. This is the movie about the head of the World Bank.
IMF.
I'm like 95% sure the cleaning lady's telling the truth. And I have a question. You both hang out with the rich and famous, me not so much, but I'm aware that if you have such status, women are more apt to smash. Yet it doesn't seem plausible to me that if you're the head of the IMF, old and gray, that a maid would be super down to jump your brittle bones and then clean 20 hotel rooms. Offensive and implausible when they accuse the union for the hotel workers of running a prostitution racket. But I don't think many people could handle the drudgery of being a maid and prostitute simultaneously. That's funnier than I can
That's really funny.
even betray because I'm focusing on my reading. So even if he was set up, I don't feel bad for him because he should have spotted the whole scenario as being mad fishy. Although, am I ignorant? Do you think that it is plausible, that it is a plausible scenario in his world? And I'm not even talking about the, hey, let's have drink and hang out, and if everything is cool, things will progress from there. I'm talking specifically, hi, my name is, and we're fucking. Especially if you're way more rich than famous. Did he think she was a big fan of his views on third world debt relief? Sacra blue, it's ridiculous. That guy had 2 good jokes, which I'm too zapped to laugh at. The one about his views on the IMF.
What do you think?
I think it's a great point. And thinking that it actually brings up my notion that women love hotel rooms. Women get freakier in hotel rooms because you don't have to do any of the work. This is the opposite of that.
Okay.
Sexually women, it's like a fucking gray zone. It's like a gray zone where whatever you do in a hotel as a woman does not count against your record. So women, it's on no holds barred. And so thinking that you can have sex with a cleaning lady is pretty wild. And also thinking when you're done here, you'll clean 8 rooms is doubly wild. And so it makes, whose side am I on? I think he absolutely, I mean, if you got to the end, it's unequivocally like the guy's a fucking dirtbag. What do you think, Bianca?
Yeah, I also think that, especially when you work very closely with each other, everyone knows your dirt. I know everybody I've ever worked with. I know if someone does something shady. I don't always know exactly what they're doing, but
I don't think you know my dirt.
I don't necessarily know your dirt, but you don't, in our work relationship, you don't do your dirt around me.
Yeah.
Whereas, let's say if I've worked in
working
it just places
30, 40 hours a week and people are drinking and all that stuff.
Yeah, like anytime I've worked side by side with someone.
That's why this is a dry work environment. Because I can't trust you or me.
No, so I don't know your dirt, but it's like if I know certain people that do certain things that I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And I know, like, you just know.
And
like,
also, a hotel that you work at's a horrible place to do dirt.
Sorry. Yeah. No, 100%. And people know when you're missing. People know when you're, like, not there. I could go a whole shift and not talk to somebody, but the moment I take 15 minutes to just get the fuck away from people, where were you? We were looking for you. Like, it's really.
But that's also when you go on break and you're like, just
there's no break.
Or whatever. You take 15 minutes to like go out back or whatever. That's when you catch people doing shit.
There's too much like, I feel like at a hotel. Let's just say this lady someone would have known something. Someone would have seen something. Hotels are always being monitored, so just ignore. Let's just pretend you didn't watch the documentary. I find it really weird that you would, and also if you're fucking like, and then there was like they implied, oh well, she knew it was the head of the IMF. How many people do you think stay there?
She loved his take on third world debt.
Yeah, exactly. So how many people do you think stay there?
That's a joke of mine that I'm kidding. It's how you see a guy steal a joke. Yeah, no, I do that in my act.
I have a question about joke stealing.
Yep.
So a friend of mine who's like just a open micer had been doing a joke for a while. Mm-hmm. And then
like a maid guy, woman.
Yeah, maid, like a headliner started doing it. So the open micer hit him up and was like, hey, I've been doing almost that exact same joke for a year.
That's what we call tough titty.
And then the other guy was like, cool, okay, could you stop doing it?
No, yeah, exactly. That's one of those things of like, cool, so this is prison?
Literally, and he was like, "That's fucked up."
No, like, if I've never met you,
no, it wasn't. He wasn't implying you stole. He stole.
Right. Oh well, then it was just like, why would I let you do it?
It was because the other guy had been doing it way longer, And it was it was very much
Yeah.
new. Like the headliner, it was his new material.
Yeah.
And the other guy had been doing it for like, let's just say maybe max a year and a half. And he was like, well, I've been doing it for a while. He's like, cool. Could you stop?
Yeah.
In a way. And the guy stopped. But he felt really up. He was really
And he's
upset.
going to be paid for that by the Headliners Fund.
Headliners
who
Fund.
pays off open micers who, yeah, that's just one of them
Yeah,
things.
Them
I've
be
had
the
that
breaks.
happen, and it's not, I couldn't,
What do you say?
there's nothing you can say. It's
like,
just one, it's just a tough one.
It's gonna
It's
look
just a
like
tough-
I did.
I've seen guys do I've seen guys do Netflix specials, and then I'll see somebody else doing the same joke 2 years later. And I used to tell them, and now I don't even bother, because it's like, it's not, I don't think they stole it.
No.
It's just one of them things that you're going to look stupid, but I don't know. I'm not going to ruin. What do you want to look stupid, or you want to have me ruin 4 days of your life? Because he's going to be in a dip.
Right. He's gonna be a
Gonna
dip.
dipstick. He's going to be a dipstick. He's going to be in dipstick. He's going to be in a dip. So there's nothing you can do. I'm reminded of a story of a guy. This is back to the cleaning lady thing. So hard not to say maid.
I know we have to
It's
say
very
clean
hard.
lady.
It's so much better to call them a cleaning lady. In Montreal, comedian, and his the cleaning lady, he was just a single, fat, not attractive guy, fucked him. And he was like in tears.
Why?
Because that never happens. Like, it never happens.
Yeah, it sounds like a porno.
Yeah, and he couldn't believe that something like that had happened to him.
Aww.
And he was so grateful. I remember Letterman telling that story about when Drew Barrymore flashed him, and he was like, I was just so grateful. Because my whole life, I'd hear stories of guys being like, yeah, I was on the way here, and some lady pulled me over and fucked me.
Right.
And then when it finally happens, Bianca. So what I'm saying is, make some man's year.
Guys are so weird. No.
Give him some unsolicited.
Remember I told you my weird roommate that hadn't been with a woman, was a virgin. He was the incel that ended up becoming a trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, for a while leading up to that, we didn't know that. That happened years after I didn't live with her. But at the time, she was a man, and she was just a virgin. Like a nerd. And every guy I told, like, oh, my roommate's a little weird. They'd be like, give him some. Just break him off. Come on. It's so weird that guys think it cost you nothing to help him.
Yeah. I'm with him.
That's so strange.
All you got to do is lube yourself up.
Ew.
We don't
so
have
nasty.
that. We need psychoactive.
No, you guys can fuck anything.
Right, but I'm saying we can't get a boner for anything. I
make it
can't
work.
spray my dick.
Hard.
Yeah.
But you can make it work. Because you can.
Not at this age.
Okay.
No, I mean, you can make it work, but I don't know. It's different for us. Okay. Bianca, another classic in the books. A fucking classic. Thank you all for listening and looking.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
And I hope that we helped or it didn't hurt.
Can you say something nice? Because this is Monday and Wednesday is the inauguration.
I mean,
say a good word.
Corn Pop, save us. If Corn Pop is there on Wednesday.
Yo, if Corn Pop was
Corn
there.
Pop is there, is a bad dude.
Yo,
Ain't nobody
it's
trying
my
shit.
man.
Just put Corn Pop sitting at the foot of the podium.
Like,
try something, even if he's old. It's 80 probably at this
it'd
point.
be so much. Would you do it? Would you just do it Zoom if you were Biden at this point?
I don't. This is where This is where government makes me a little insane. Where it's like, just go inside. Just
go.
Why
does it have to be outside?
We can't let them know. We let 11 terrorists ruin flying. So we can do other shit.
What
Like
about
we
if it
don't
was
have
rain-
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
if we change one bit, it was as if anyone was taking strength from, I'm from America and we do outdoor changes of power. So
Unless it
enough
rains.
said.
Unless it rains.
and then we change it up a little bit. But
Do you think we're in a time of someone might get assassinated? Because that hasn't happened for a while.
I mean, obviously they're all, the National Guard or whomever is protecting them. Just one of them has to be a white supremacist and keep one QAnon out of 25,000.
We can't. They literally said we can't make sure it's 100% secure.
Then go inside.
Yeah.
Go inside. I don't,
Yeah. Why aren't
when
we
I
doing it
bought a
inside?
Rolex, we didn't do it outside. It's like when you're doing shit, you'd go to a place where it's safe. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Goodbye.
You've got mail.
Tell me how